Hey guys, welcome to the Opinionated Podcast, your favorite sex, love, and relationship podcast. And we are your hosts.
I'm Cool Kev.
I'm Dash.
And I'm Big Dre, and we got a special guest today.
Hey, it's Mike.
It's Uncle Mike.
It's Uncle Mike in the building.
I'm pretty sure y'all heard us talk about Uncle Mike before.
Yeah, we podcast a lot of time.
Today we got a special topic, and I'm gonna explain this one this time. So yesterday, my man Kevin here, or Dash, decided to have a 90s party, or excuse me, a 90s barbecue, and it was glorious.
It was the turn up of the
It was
beginning of the
glorious.
summer.
And if you missed it,
Oh my
you
God.
missed everything. It was
Everything.
fantastic.
I
We had a
was
great
fried,
time.
died, laid
Laid
to the side. Kev done passed out 3 times in front of the barbecue pit. Dre was just dancing recklessly.
Little bit.
It was a good time, and I
Little
feel
bit.
bad for you punk asses that didn't show.
And we had a couple people that were dressed up. Uncle
Mhm.
Mike was one of them.
Yes, he was.
Look, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Well, tell me what you
You-
had on yesterday.
Yeah.
I came like P. Diddy, man. I had the red, white, and blue, like knockoff Tommy tracksuit. I had the Fat Farms sneakers. I had the Tupac style, bandana.
Got the
white
bandana.
Tie, with the Jordans in the front like that. The glasses, man, it was beautiful.
It was
I
litty.
enjoyed myself. Everybody came together. It was just the energy was just lovely, man.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I'm not going to lie. If it was a contest, I feel like you came in second, though.
Oh, I knew that.
You came in second because you was if Sammy wasn't there, you would have had it. You would have had it because you was dressed up to the nines. But Sammy had it though.
Yeah, Sammy
But
put that on lock.
Other than that, you had it.
Yeah, man. It was good, man. I was tripping because when I got dressed, I kept looking in the mirror and I kept feeling like flashbacks. I'm like, yo, I ain't that dude before. Like 20 years later.
I'm gonna show y'all the picture. I'm gonna get the picture up.
Oh yeah, get the picture up. Get the picture up there.
That was crazy.
Y'all would have enjoyed it, and
I would've.
we're gonna throw one again.
Yeah, we'll
and
throw another different
I'm
type of
volunteering
party.
Kev's house.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you're volunteering?
Clearly, we're gonna throw it again next year, and it's gonna be fantastic again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it annually now.
Yeah.
Yearly
90s every year. Celebrate the 90s.
We gotta do a 2000
Yeah,
party.
Courtney.
That's
She,
what I was gonna say.
2000.
Courtney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Courtney
She
Beck for
died.
coming
She
through.
died yesterday.
Yo.
Came
too.
from Philly.
Thank
She
you
came
for
from
coming
Philly
through,
and
Courtney.
showed love. You know what I'm saying?
You
And
are funny.
supported. She was funny as hell. Her and my girl pretty much hung out the whole night.
She
They
died.
had their own table. And they was getting fucked up. There had to be like 10 of them there. They playing kings. They playing all drinking games.
I don't know what that is.
They was playing all drinking. When me and Kev got there at the end of the night, their
It
table was filled with cans and empty bottles. Just there was no room on the table for nothing.
People was nodding.
They
down.
were trashed.
That
Good
sounds like
time.
that sounds like a great night.
And it was great to watch everybody come together and have a good time. It was all love. Everything was peaceful. Everybody was out there, enjoying each other, showing love to each other. Everybody got to eat. Everybody got to drink. Nobody got out of control. And we want to just tell everybody that we appreciate everybody for coming through, being adults, having a good time. You know what I'm saying? And blessing us with your presence. That shit was dope as hell. And we hope to see y'all with the next event.
Well,
I definitely was getting texts and calls like, damn, I didn't know that Joan was going on. I'm like,
Oh,
we
well,
posting
you
it
should
all over
have paid
Facebook.
attention.
Yeah, we posting all over Facebook. I put it live. Kevin posting it. Draven posting it.
do y'all got a good picture of Sammy that I can throw up here? Show
Dog, I gave you the picture.
Yeah,
The picture, I
got
made a
pictures.
picture.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
in light of that,
Yeah, we're gonna show y'all what Uncle Mike had on yesterday. I got a picture of him that y'all can see.
in
There it is.
in light,
Yeah.
there you go, there you
He
go.
had the shimmering background.
Oh,
and
he had
everything.
a full body joint too.
Yeah.
He had a full body
I
joint.
gotta get that one. I'm gonna get that one, but I got this one, and this is the winner right here. This
Yo,
is
he
Low
had-
Dog.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
He had the condom, the bag of weed in his hair the whole time.
Loke Dog from Don't say? Don't be a
Don't
menace
be a
while
menace to
drinking your
society.
juice.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. To society while drinking your juice in the
Marlon
hood.
Wayans would be impressed.
He would love that. Oh, I should tag him.
Tag
Yeah,
him.
we're gonna have
I gotta tag him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up, Marlon.
Wait.
Look up Marlon. Say cheese. So in light of that party that we had, we are going to be discussing the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights of the 90s. And I know all of our listeners will enjoy that. So please walk with us as we go through this nostalgic forest that we are about to enter right now. And I'm a little buzzed right now.
Yeah, he's buzzed right
I'm
now.
a little buzzed.
So
So
the 90s.
Kev, take it over.
Yeah, I got it. So the 90s was a transition from the 80s, which was the beginning of rap music. So I think rap started in what, 80s?
Started out at the park.
Actually, hip hop started like in the late 70s. Like the first joint, I think the first big joint was
Cool
Sugar
Herc?
Hill Gang.
Oh, all right. Yes, the hip, the hop, the hip, and
yeah,
hop.
hip, hop,
Yep.
yeah, all of that. And you know, then it started to grow in the 80s. But I seen it change when the 90s came. It was just, you know,
Gangster rap, right?
because it's almost like a bleed over from one generation to the next. Like the 80s bled over to the early 90s, but then by 95, y'all had your own flavor. It was just totally different. The emergence of gangster rap.
Yeah.
Man, so many. It just, you see the evolution, how it just
So many styles. You had
styles and changes and stuff.
you had the back. Well, I don't know what they was called back then. I don't backpack rappers. Or you had
Backpack
You
that.
think it was backpack rap back
That
then?
was, nah, I thought
That
that
was
was
2000.
Kanye.
No,
Yeah, it was.
No, it
Kanye
wasn't.
style, wasn't it?
Most Def and
No,
Talib
you
Kweli.
forgetting about Far Side and all of them.
They call that
Yes.
backpack rap back then?
That what?
back then, because you had your conscious rappers. You had, like you said,
I would say
Common.
conscious.
You had the
Well,
Common.
yeah.
You had, who else was out there? X Clan, PE, of course.
Yeah, Public
You know what I
Enemy,
mean? So,
absolutely.
And but that was like early 90s. Something happened between 92, 93. Something happened.
I think that was the emergence of Snoop and Dre. Because
It
Dre
was.
Dre had just broke off
I
from
wasn't there.
NWA,
I wasn't there.
and he
Went
got
to,
and they started getting with when Death Row Records came out.
yeah.
And that was the emergence of Snoop Dogg, this West Coast gangster rap, all them petrifying the gang mentality, because we didn't know nothing about really gangs on the East Coast like that.
Right, I ain't know nothing.
It was like a shift. You know, it went from like New York, and then it went out to L.A. And then when they came in the game, like you
I'm
said,
just saying there somewhere.
around that early 90s, man, it was just like, like Snoop and Cube. And you could see there was a change. There was a shift going on in hip hop at that time.
Yeah, it was just hip hop. I think 90s rap was probably 90s era, like some of the best people came out in the 90s, some of the best music
Music, 100%.
came out in the 90s.
100%.
Like, don't
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. The 90s had icons.
Where? Absolutely.
yeah.
It was
You
definitely.
had Nas.
Yeah.
You had, jeez,
You had
Ice
Capone.
Cube, like you say.
Big,
You had Snoop.
Pac.
You had Dre.
Yeah.
You had Pac. You had Big.
Yeah.
It was just full of icons.
You had
man.
Capone and
Oh,
Noriega coming
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Mob
People who's still out to this day doing
Mhm.
their thing. Absolutely.
Mob Deep.
Mob Deep.
I'm trying to think.
Oh,
who
you
else.
could keep going.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Like
Yeah.
you got Nelly. Who else you had in there? You had the emergence of like DMX.
DMX came in late
Yeah,
90s.
late
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people who made their mark. The Fugees. Like,
Yeah.
just so many people who still to this day make their mark.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Hardcore rap was born.
Yeah,
Hardcore rap was born.
Yep.
And to me, that was the best. I would say, like, where the most memories came from for me was the 90s, because it's like that's when we was kids and we was able to do, you was able to be without your responsibilities but still indulge in all that stuff.
It was crazy because I entered into the 90s. I turned 23. My nephews, they was in their teenage years, man, and they had a different flavor, man. Y'all was coming with something. All of y'all had this new thing, man, and I was just like, man, it's they what they got is different.
yeah.
It's different, but
The music influenced us so much because I tell the story all the time. The first time I seen Wu-Tang Clan, the first video I seen was the Cream video, and I just see this like destroyed city in the background. Who was that? ODB singing around the fire. I'm like, what the hell is this?
when I saw the Wu-Tang Clan, I ain't gonna even front. I was scared. I was like, yo, I would not want to see them.
Right, yeah.
Yo, man, because they just look wow, man. They just like they just look crazy. Like we were saying before, Method Man with that white out eye. His eye, one eye was white. I was like, what the hell happened?
Everybody
I really thought something was wrong with his eye.
You know what I mean? It was crazy, man.
I really thought he lost his eye. I'm like, yo, what happened? Like, why these niggas hair have braids in?
Yo,
Have braids
it
out?
was like the grime. The grime was there, and you could, and a lot of people could identify with that, like being from similar places.
But you know what was interesting, and y'all have it on the board. Like I think, and what y'all could probably touch on is that East Coast West Coast thing, because it was like it's the hip hop shifted to the West Coast, but the East Coast came right back. It came right back, and that's when you was either East Coast or you was West Coast. There was a lot of cliques, and there was a lot of crews and everything, and everybody had their sets, you know, during that era.
Yeah.
Right. Wasn't no Midwest back then. It was only East Coast and West Coast.
Yeah,
It was on.
You're right. Now they said
Pick a side.
They said it. The videos back then, dog,
They were like movies, bro.
Yes. I think
Movies.
Bad Boys had like the most glittery, like glamorous mansions.
Puffing them.
Yeah, that was glam rap.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
when, you know, the bling and
We gotta call it glap.
but
yeah, it was glam. That's what it is. It is what it is.
Got to.
yo,
And that was that late, going into that late 90s, but that early 90s was grimy.
Definitely.
yes,
It was grimy, man.
yeah, because I remember
That's
West
that's,
Coast.
I was about to say, yeah, that's when motherfuckers they was actually coming out of the streets. They were pulling motherfuckers
Yes.
straight out of the streets into rap, and
Yeah,
we didn't
and
know.
they
We
could
didn't
rap.
know, like we would listen to the rap, but that's what would make you scared. Like, oh, these motherfuckers is talking about killing and robbing and shit. Where they from? Oh, they from New York. Oh, they from Cali.
Yep.
Oh, they from. Oh, this is crazy. I don't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
Like as a kid, you're
was-
like, oh shit, that sounds crazy.
bro, I was scared of California, dog. At that era when Cali's rap started coming out, they movies, it shit
They
just-
movies.
I'm like, yo, you can't walk around the street with a blue hat on, like. Dog, I love my blue hat.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
that's
walk with my
creepy.
red.
Coming out of the late 80s into the 90s, a big gang movie was called Colors.
Oh
Colors.
yeah,
Ice
Colors.
Yeah, that was
Colors.
my shit.
Colors.
And then you had Juice. We had Juice on
Juice was
Right.
Juice was our John.
And they, they just, what else they had on? Boys in the
Hood,
Hood.
boys.
Boys
Oh
in the
yeah,
God.
yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
You know,
New Jersey Drive.
South
New Jersey
Central.
Drive,
That
yeah.
was
New Jersey
that was
Drive.
good. It was like I said, it was probably like the first time where Hollywood was taking these stories from
New Jack City.
from the streets and putting them on the big screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that in the 80s.
Yeah, they didn't. It was
not
it was
with
a-
hip hop artists.
it was just
Oh no, they got different in the '90s.
They got real in the
Yeah.
I listen. Boys
CB4.
not
That
I
was
was
my
just
shit.
It's,
That was my
uh,
shit. Still.
but yeah,
Jay
I
Gusto.
remember watching Boys, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Why these niggas just shoot the ball up for when he shot him in the back, killed his brother? They seen dead bodies laying around everywhere. I'm like, yo, West
It
Coast.
was real, bro.
I'm like,
It
yo,
was crazy.
Menace to Society. Now that shit
That-
really had me.
Yo,
shook.
I was like this. I went and saw Menace to Society at the multiplex in Acco. I came out there. I was like this. I was just like, because it was so upsetting, because it was so graphic. What was the boy they shot up at the end?
Was it what's his name?
Kane.
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 Yeah, Kane got
Yeah,
killed.
Kane.
I
I
thought
was like, yo, man, this is.
He was just about to go out, make it out the hood,
Yeah,
yo.
yeah, it was crazy.
Yep.
They was where was they moving?
For sure,
Uh-oh,
poetic
somebody said
justice.
something real important.
Poetic
justice.
Damn, where was they about to move? Like the Virginia or some
they
shit?
was about to move out of
Some
Cali.
crazy stuff.
They was about to move
Somewhere out.
With Jada.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he had because Jada was
Jada.
older.
Jada
older.
been a rapist, yeah.
She was older than him,
She
and
been
she
a
had to
rapist.
make the kid. Because you remember,
What was he, like 17? He was like 17, right?
Yeah, she been a rapist.
She was
the
a
movie
rapist
with the
before
kid who was
August
selling
17th.
drugs and the kids got killed in the basketball court.
Yeah, it was
oh, that
Kid
was the
got killed in the
basketball
basketball court.
movie when the kid.
Oh,
was,
we also had Above the Rim, but go ahead.
Above the
no,
rim,
Mr.
yeah.
You remember the movie? The kid, he was sitting on the court playing basketball, and he was killing a dude on the court, and the dude got
No,
mad and
you talking about Fresh?
Yeah,
Fresh. He shot the girl by
I don't
accident on the
remember that.
court,
He
shot
shot
the-
the dude. He shot him with the basketball. Killed the boy
Yeah.
that was holding the basketball.
and it went through her and hit the girl.
And hit the girl. She was
Little
hitting her.
girl.
It hit the rib. She started dying.
You never
I've
seen
never
Fresh?
seen
Where he
Fresh.
hung the pit bull from a chain and let the pit bull.
Choke out. Yeah.
No, I never
That
seen
that
Fresh.
shit was crazy.
Was
it was
it,
all
in
about his
fact,
sister.
Fresh?
The dude was a drug dealer and he had a sister and he was like using her as to taste the drugs and shit. She was all strung out and shit like that. And he wanted to get her sister
whole
free.
90s
Fresh
era,
drugs.
Man, they had a plethora of movies like that. South Central.
Oh,
They
South
had so
Central.
many of those movies, man, and it kind of, I think it died out towards like after the mid to late '90s. But no, I can't really say that because you had what was the movie that was with X and Nas?
Oh,
Belly.
Belly came out what 98. That was
Belly
back
came out at the height of
98.
DMX's career. Well, excuse me, at the start of DMX's career.
98.
Yeah.
And Belly had everybody. Belly
It
had
did.
Nas, Method Man, DMX.
So
it had damn near half
Can I-
the Def Jam cast. On
can
that.
I throw out a very controversial thought?
Go ahead.
I didn't think Belly was good.
I have to agree with Dre. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but critics was like the movie was too not dark in complexion, but like
Dark
in tone.
lighting. Yeah,
In tone, yes.
And the lighting.
Yeah.
it was just-
It was like a long music video
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Hype Williams did
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
So how y'all think of this movie right here?
Set It Off was one of the greatest
Set It
movies
Off was
of
great.
all time.
Crazy.
Still a classic to this day. I love that movie. Thank you, whoever you are. Who's that?
I don't know. It's
That was with Queen Latifah. Who else?
Jada
was in
Pinkett,
it.
the rapist.
The
It was
rapist.
the chick that always cry in every movie.
Oh,
She
yeah,
died.
I know you're talking
And
about,
Vivica
yeah.
A. Fox when she was fine.
Yeah.
How
When she
about
was fine.
in this movie right here? I remember. Y'all remember Dead Presidents when that came
Dead
out?
Presidents
stop.
was the shit too.
That's I never
Who
told
is
you,
this?
That's like one of my favorite joints.
But Dead
Dead
Presidents.
Presidents was the joint because that's when the boy what's his name?
Chris Tucker?
No, not Chris Tucker.
Not Chris Tucker.
No, his name is Lorenz Tate.
Lorenz
Yeah,
Tate.
Lorenz Tate.
Yeah.
And him and the other dude that was they was fighting in the pool hall.
Who is he fighting?
I forgot.
You know who I'm talking about.
Damn.
It wasn't
I
that
got
Cool J.
fucking- No.
That was the other movie.
And Omar Good. Omar.
No,
Omar Gooden. He was a wild and crazy kid.
But, you know,
Also 90s.
Frank.
Also 90s. He was a
Uh.
wild and
the
crazy
90s
kid.
just had
Yo, you're an
mad crazy-
asshole.
Crazy movies, man. I
Yeah.
mean, box office
Really good.
smash.
Really good movies that stood the test of time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can watch them to this day and be like,
That's why That's why 90s was.
"What that,
probably-
Pierre?
That's,
Oh, that's Pete.
That's Pierre."
that's why 90s was probably one of the best eras. Cause
It
like,
is.
like
Jurassic Park came out in '93.
Hey
If
man,
that was
I
the
still
movie-
think about that if that can be done.
But
I
yeah,
still think about that.
like yo, you do motherfuckers still be trying that shit. When Jurassic Park came out 93.
93?
Yep.
93.
Oh my gosh!
That was the
Yeah.
first time that shit.
That was a
looking
yeah.
red.
Yo, they
And
look, they were animatronic, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. No, that was all CG.
Really?
Most of it was CG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they had a big ass dinosaur waving from side to side like on some fake shit. Like a
That's
machine.
crazy.
But that was the first movie I seen a dinosaur eat a nigga
So-
taking a shit.
Yeah, you get it in the spotter pot.
Eating a nigga taking a
The
shit.
thing about
Yo,
it was,
the Bokeem
I
whipped
think
my
the
ass.
90s
You
just-
scared
it
me
just
to
changed
death.
Car door.
It just
I
changed
thought you was a
way
girl
we
from The
watch
Ring.
Movies, man. And I think, like I said, when Jurassic Park came out, that changed.
That changed the game.
That came out in 90.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 93, dog. That's what I'm saying.
I still love that movie to this day.
Movies was good, and we was talking about earlier gaming.
Newman.
Oh my God.
Now we gonna. Ken was Nintendo did come out in the 80s,
Right.
but it did kind of
Came out.
Blow up in the
And
90s.
then
blew
really
up in the
blew.
90s.
It became more popularized in the 90s.
More people started to be
I
able to
think the
afford it.
gaming area itself really started to pop
in the 90s. Everything.
The
Yeah.
gaming itself, because you had Atari. Remember, y'all had Pong.
We
Y'all had one little joint, let the Pong go. Yeah. And that shit, y'all was playing
And I,
that to
st- and
death.
I still trash niggas on that.
Yeah. And
I'll
then
still
we
trash
started
niggas.
getting Frogger and shit like that. And then Atari started like splurging a little bit.
Arcade games was a shit back then.
Arcade games.
Yeah.
That's when
And then,
yeah,
and
90s
then
had the arcade,
That
big
blow up.
arcade,
That
Yeah.
real
blow up.
arcade.
But y'all had the games that we used to play in the 80s. Y'all had those games in your
Yeah.
households.
In a
Yeah.
household.
Your gaming consoles in your household. You know what I mean? Like I agree with Kevin.
Tekken.
The 90s is when it just explode.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember when Sega Genesis dropped off and Sonic,
Yes.
Sonic, that's when you used to buy a system and you got an actual game.
Yeah,
Now
you
you
got
buy
a
a
game.
system, you just get a system.
Ain't that
And
crazy?
I'm gonna tell you something about the Sega Genesis gaming system. You can break those motherfuckers damn near down to a skeleton.
Oh my gosh.
It will still work.
Motherfuckers got bronchitis blowing in them damn motherfucking cartridges. It was niggas having breathing troubles now from this day, blowing the
But
dust
dog,
Hey,
out
let
of
me-
the joint
Hey,
into
can,
their
I
nose.
can I tell y'all a secret? Can I tell y'all a secret? Can I tell you a secret?
What?
It didn't do a fucking
Didn't
thing.
do nothing.
we
It
always
didn't do a damn thing.
But you know what? We did it until it worked. Not only that, but remember when you used to put in Nintendo and you would just keep pressing it down, and then press power, see if you can make it work. We used to do all types of shit to try to make the
when
game
you had
work.
to push the shit in because you
had to
the
push
old
it in.
Sega, you
You had to push it in a certain way. You have to push it in, push it
down.
down, push it in, push it down. Sometimes you push it down, power don't work. Push it down, power don't work. You kept doing it till it came on.
Because I ain't buying another damn system.
You ain't buying
Our parents was not buying
I'm about
another
to say
system.
because
dog.
you ain't have the money,
Nah, you got
and they
one
was telling you to
system,
fix
that was
it.
Yep,
That
that
was
is it.
But dog,
That's where COVID came
Two
from.
cartridges. I'm trying to tell you.
Nintendo
trying to
started
tell you.
the blow though,
Yeah,
because you were blowing the Nintendo, and that's when you had to fucking open the secret cupboard and put that shit in, and
yeah.
put it down, and then close the
Then
shit.
when you
and then turn it
realize
on.
that little secret notch ain't do shit. How
Ain't
many?
do nothing.
My shit broke off one time. It was just game. You could just see inside that motherfucker. I just come by and slide it in. Boop, ain't no lift action. You know what I mean?
but
Oh.
Sega, man, when Sega came on the scene in '95, the games you had Streets of Rage,
That was my shit.
Mike Tyson, Bugs
No.
Douglas not. That was his game. I remember Uncle Mikey played that.
Hey.
shit.
I got a whole
all the time.
Michael Jackson game. What was that
Oh,
shit called?
shit. Moonwalker.
Moonwalker.
That was the
That
shit.
yeah.
That nigga
Yeah.
kicked the glitter come out his feet. He
Oh,
fly up
shit.
the stairs.
Yeah, we knew something was wrong. Game Gear.
Sega had Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah. That
That's how-
started
yeah,
killing shit.
yeah.
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat was that game.
Mortal Kombat had I think it was like a
R
R-rated
rating.
game because the
Yeah.
blood. No other game had blood or
That's right.
fatality.
It was dope though.
Remember, you had to put a code in for Mortal Kombat to get the blood.
ABAC,
Man,
ABB.
you took me back on that.
I don't remember that.
ABAC, ABB.
Yeah, you had to
What
put
the-
that.
Maybe what?
ABAC, ABB.
That's the Contra
Oh,
code.
yeah.
You remember you had to put that in order to get blood to get the blood to come out, man. Like the blood code for Mortal Kombat in the
Well,
face.
wait, if you did that, it wouldn't be no blood if
When
you
you
didn't do
punch
it.
somebody, the blood wouldn't shoot out
The
their
blood
face.
wouldn't shoot out.
They face.
Oh, I was playing it raw.
Because because back in the 90s, censorship and all of that
Thank you.
stuff, what kids could hear and see was strict.
Yeah.
So,
Let me ask you a question. But the difference between then and now, because think about what
man.
kids can watch now.
Listen, the difference between then and now.
Even though
is-
we ain't talking about that,
this is-
but I'm
this
just
is
saying.
no bullshit. I was in the crib one day playing 2K. I was playing 2K. I didn't have no headset on. I was just playing and smoking.
K2.
And my girl came down to watch whatever. She was doing something. And she looked at the TV and she said, "Oh, who you watching play? Who playing tonight?" She thought that it was a TV,
That's
like
crazy.
it was actually
Bro,
That's
on
crazy.
TV. And I'm like, I put it up to control. I'm like, I'm playing. She was like, "Wow,
Andre said,
looks real." What up?
yeah, what's going on, Dre?
That's not me.
Nah, that's my man. That's my How you? You good?
yeah. So,
What's up?
but you remember
If I can interject,
Nintendo 64,
remember how,
that
like,
came out in the
remember
90s, didn't it?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
That's what turned the gaming systems
But you
out.
remember how banging Sega was like, "Oh shit, we NBA basketball. This shit real as
Dog.
hell."
Oh,
If
Yeah,
I-
that's what I'm
if I
saying.
can interject,
Good.
I was at my grandfather's house playing Sega Saturn.
Oh,
Sega
that was the
Saturn.
first CD game to come
Right.
out, right?
And he was like, "Who playing?" He said the same thing, like, "Oh, who playing today?" I was playing some NBA game or something like that. It might have been NFL. Who playing? I'm like, "Nah, this is a game, Grandpa." He was like, "Oh my God, that looks so real."
Yeah.
If he was living now, yo, he would,
When
he,
NFL,
he
yeah.
would be like, he would just be confused. He would be confused.
But you know what? And I said this earlier when we was talking. The game changer was PlayStation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was a game changer.
Absolutely.
It was a game
I,
changer.
I think
What you
Nintendo
I was in sixth
64
grade.
was the changer, and then PlayStation
You
came
thinking
in.
about Golden Eye?
I'm thinking about everything.
Well,
about-
y'all forget about
when
Sega,
Nintendo-
the Jaguar. Sega Jaguar.
That
But
shit
go
that
ahead.
had very low life.
It still had
It
CDs.
had very low life.
Dog, but
Nintendo 64 it just came out with another different type of cartridge, but the games on there, GoldenEye,
GoldenEye.
WWE, all the wrestling games, all of the wrestling
they
games was fire.
couldn't compete because they didn't have tech.
Yeah, well, that you talking about PlayStation. That
Yeah.
PlayStation
Yeah,
came out after 64, didn't it?
Oh, 64
yeah, it did.
came
I
out
had
first.
64.
And the thing about PlayStation, they had mad games, man.
A lot of
They
games.
had mad games. They had.
Damn, Kev
They
almost
made-
put that
Yeah,
shit
a lot of games.
I gotta keep the mic so you can hear
It's
him.
cool. Yeah, they had a lot of games, man.
Yo, Sega did too. Sega had you
Yeah, but
remember
they
you
had
used
to
look at the
succumb.
you remember to look at the box on the back of your Sega and it
Oh,
had
yeah.
all the games.
Bro, you don't even know. That's where I
Yes.
got my ideas for the games I wanted.
Yup.
Look on the back of the box. Oh yeah, I gotta get that joint.
Sega
Toe
had,
Jam and Earl. Let me go get that
There
joint.
There was-
Booger Man. Man, they had all kind of
I had-
Batman, Robin.
Somebody-
They had a lot of games.
Somebody put Shinobi. I had Shinobi on there.
Shinobi.
Oh, yeah.
That was my shit. I beat
Swinging
Shinobi.
swords like
Hell,
Shinobi.
I
All
think
these
you
Sega
took-
games.
I think you sampled something off of a Shinobi game. One of the
That sounds about right.
man.
That sounds about right.
Because it
Because
had
back then it was using the RCA chords,
Yeah.
the whatchamacallit, so you can actually, yeah, absolutely.
yo, dog. You know who was the dopest beat on the game though? Mario. What was it? Mario World 3. When it was like
That's
the
when you
rap
fight
version.
Koopa. That's when you fight Koopa, ain't it?
It was the rap version. It was the ice-
Well,
it was the ice board.
that was when I thought that's when you was on when you was underground on the green, the blue bricks, yeah.
Blue bricks.
Yeah.
That was,
It was a rap beat though. It was like boom, tap, boom, boom, boom,
Oh, y'all going back.
tap, boom, boom, tap.
Hey, my name is Marvin. No, I'm not
Niggas used to
Oh,
freestyle to that.
Nah,
joint.
but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you when the kids started leaving Mario alone when they came out with that whack ass Mario and Luigi TV show.
Oh, that was
Ah.
my show.
That was
Talking
our
about the Mario
show. It
Brothers
was
TV
terrible.
show?
That was our show. Yes.
That was our shit.
Yes.
Because it would
That's-
start off
see,
with
that
them
was a
being
classic for
real.
us.
It would start off with them being
Yep.
real in the crib, and then they would talk about an adventure. It turned to a cartoon.
Yep.
So he was like, "Oh shit!"
It was
They
dope.
were dancing to it like this.
You can you can still find it on Netflix.
Oh,
You can
shit
find it
right,
on
yeah,
Netflix.
Yeah, you
It
can.
is awful.
I know it's awful, dog.
It is awful. But that was dope. And we're not going to talk about the movie.
I want to talk about. I want to
Oh,
talk.
never mind.
No, go talk about. The movie was horrible too. The movie was.
That
It was
my
horrible,
shit.
but it was your shit.
It was my shit
That
back
was stupid.
Yeah.
But talking about cartoons, dog, the transition of cartoons. I watched cartoons in the 80s. 80s cartoon would just mindlessly just do aimless shit and had no point to it.
Bro. A lot of cartoons we love came out in the 80s and was re-released in the 90s
No.
to us.
The 90s had
Yeah.
X-Men.
All right, yeah, that's
Oh,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And your
That's
first one,
different.
Batman.
Batman.
The animated series,
the
yes.
best
Oh,
Batman.
hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
They still, just, okay.
Nah, but I'm gonna tell you what y'all probably forgot about in the 90s. Y'all had Cartoon Network in the 90s.
Oh,
Yeah, that's when that
hell
first
yeah.
came out. Because
Hell yeah.
Dexter wasn't a
Toonami and all
cartoon yet.
that.
Dexter wasn't a cartoon.
No, it was called Cartoon. They would show clips.
Yeah,
they would show
Dun,
clips
dun,
of
dun,
Dexter.
dun,
I
dun,
remember
dun,
that.
dun, dun,
Cartoon. They would show
Oh,
clips of Dexter.
That's when I didn't have cable.
Yeah, they would show clips. They would show clips of
That's what
Dexter.
that was.
They would show clips of Powerpuff Girls. They were just clips. They weren't full shows yet. It was 4 people that started as drawing these cartoons, and they wasn't full show Calvin Chicken, none of these. They were old clips, and they wind up becoming, because they were so good as clips, they made them full-length cartoons and gave their own show.
Is it safe to say that anime really exploded in the 90s?
I think it
That's
was
what
before
I'm
the
saying,
90s.
yeah.
No, I think it was before
No,
the 90s.
they
because-
came out in the 80s, but the 90s
No,
is
no, no.
when
You
You
we
mean in
started.
the United
Like,
States, maybe it blew up in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah.
But
They
anime
had
before
been
that.
out there too, but I think in the 90s, it really
Oh yeah,
exploded.
when Dragon Ball Z came out,
Oh.
dog,
Ronin Warriors.
Ronin
Oh,
Warriors,
that was my shit.
when Ronin Warriors and Dragon Ball Z came out, you had to claim your character as a kid.
Nerdcast alert. Yes, I was Ryu. Nerdcast alert. Nerdcast alert. Let's
So
go.
I claimed
Oh,
Vegeta.
somebody said Thundercats.
Thundercats.
That was,
That
You know,
80s.
Kev is Lino.
80s,
No,
that was
Kev
80s.
is
Oh, shit.
what's the ball head one?
The blue one.
The blue one. What's the ball head one?
The blue one, Thundercats.
Yeah, that's what Kev is.
Panthro.
Panthro. That's the new nickname, Panthro.
His name was not Panther.
Paul, short for Panthro.
Yeah.
Listen.
But you know what?
Ronin Warriors.
Also the 90s. Also, they had y'all had to start having adult like type themed cartoons.
Oh, Power Rangers.
Eon Flux.
Eon Flux.
Or
I didn't
MTV.
see. I didn't know that came out then. But yes, that was
Yes.
a dirtier cartoon.
That was
wasn't it?
crazy.
Right. And what was the
That was a
other one?
dirtier
Yeah,
one.
it was one
wait,
after Beavis and Butthead.
Wait.
South
Hold
Park.
on. I'm about to
South
bitch your whole
Park.
brain up. Spawn.
It was Spawn.
Did the movie come out in the 90s?
Yes,
The
and the
movie-
cartoon.
Damn, the movie was
did.
fire.
The cartoon
too.
was on HBO.
That's
You had
what
to watch
you had
it
to watch it
on HBO.
HBO,
That shit was.
Spawn, my
Yeah,
brother,
that was crazy.
and the movie
Oh,
was good.
Voltron was
what's
first.
his name? Michael Jai White.
Go John White. Yeah, that was
So
like.
y'all had
John Leguizamo.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's
we
easy.
had a lot of stuff.
man. Y'all had South Park,
Oh,
Beavis and Butthead, and classic Ren and Stimpy.
Grandma, right?
Ren and Stimpy.
I remember when
Power Rangers.
I remember when South Park came out. The first episode. We had to watch it because I had to go to school the next day to talk about it.
Okay.
My grandma comes in the living room. They cursing. What is this shit y'all watching? Oh my damn! She turned this shit off. Click.
Oh damn.
The whole school talking about South Park. I didn't see a stitch of it.
I wouldn't have been because I had no cable.
It was
Yo,
crazy, man. Y'all, the 90s was a lot of stuff happened, man. So much went on in the 90s. Folks.
Captain Planet. He's a hero. Going to take pollution down to zero. I remember that, and it was the best.
Wow.
It was the best.
yo, here go show all y'all niggas watching. Don't even fraud. Power Rangers.
I just said
We,
that.
yeah, we said that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you late. You late, Panthro.
Alright. So,
Voltron.
What else was good in TV? Okay, you had some good comedies.
See,
The black. That's
If I could go back- yeah, Martin and all of them. Okay, all right, let me go back once. Speed Racer was great. Yo, I think so Voltron, right? We're gonna go back just 1 second. Voltron.
Was 80s.
Didn't Voltron come out in the 80s? But I
80s.
believe Power Rangers was based on Voltron.
No, Power Rangers.
They- It's
And-
similar because they got the same color scheme where one is red, blue,
So-
pink,
So
yellow.
there was
right.
so
And they
basically there was
formed-
a show in Japan that they made that was
Power Rangers, right?
And what they did was they adapted that show to the United States, but they literally took their episodes and just recorded the English over it.
Right.
So when you see the regular, like when you see them,
Them fighting.
yeah, it's really them in Japan
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't
And-
Jason.
So they was remember we was watching the
VR Troopers.
when
And do you
when
know-
what was that TV show on Netflix? We were talking about old TV shows.
I think it was like the
Cable.
toys of our childhood.
Yeah,
or something.
TV shows of your childhood or
watch
something like
it.
that. And they were talking about them shows.
They have so many versions, man. They got so many versions of the Power Rangers. I just stopped.
VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs.
No, what was that? There was another one too that was like that.
In the 90s?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was kind of like a Power
Yeah,
Ranger.
they just said it.
And they
Big
were-
back
they used to
VR.
fight in
Big back
computers.
Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
It was no,
VR
this was the one
Yeah.
with Joey
Right here,
from
VR
Blossom's little brother.
Was it VR Troopers?
No, it was another one.
No, it
This
was
was
another
different.
one. It
His
was-
name was like Servo or something like that.
Yeah, they had it was at one time
Goldar was y'all guy.
Yeah, that was
Goldar was 60s.
Kamen Riders.
Goldar was from
remember
the
that.
60s,
God damn.
and they reused him in the Power Rangers. You know, was another
Goldar
cartoon
was
that
from the 60s.
Uncle Mike can tell you. Goldar.
From where though?
Goldar.
Yeah.
That was from that. It was actually called Space Giants.
Oh wow.
It was based on this gold robot. His wife name was
Michael
Silvar,
Mike's from Mars.
and a little boy they
Michael
had son
Mike's
named
from
Gan,
Mars.
and they would transfer to these
Michael
robots.
Mike's from
and stuff.
Mars.
It was crazy.
Shit.
And that's how Goldar.
Yeah, that was
Superhuman
that was back
Samurai.
in the 70s and late
Cyber
Yeah.
Squad.
Yeah, but,
Superhuman Samurai.
Yeah,
but I'm trying, now talking about cartoons, we just gonna stay on cartoons. We really,
on the 90s.
yeah, in the 90s. Let's get real deep into it. When X-Men came out in 95,
It
that
my favorite
was the
show. After school, by the way.
The first time, the first
Yeah, it
episode
was-
of got here.
The cartoons was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. To me, I think that was really spawned the movie. It got people, y'all generation of young people, ready for the movie. That
We
came out in
loved
2000.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was crazy. Because I'm gonna tell you,
And it wasn't a good movie, by the way. But go ahead.
Marvel struggled a long time.
Yep.
They struggled. I mean, they put out live action Captain Americas, live action Spider-Mans, and they all stunk. The worst, and I have it
I was
on
gonna say,
VHS,
yep.
is the Fantastic Four. It is the absolute worst.
You got to tell them about it.
Oh, God. They made the Thing. His costume was made out of foam.
Oh God!
It's bad. Johnny Flame or the Human Torch, he was a cartoon. They made him when he turned to the flame, it was like a animated cartoon.
Oh my gosh!
It was so bad. After Marvel produced, they shelved it. They just like
and then somebody's right. Blade.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Blade was a Marvel movie, but it
I
did say
didn't.
Marvel.
I don't know if it saved it. I think they
Yeah.
still had to sell off a lot of stuff, and then they
Nah,
started
I-
getting it back later.
Because Blade was on
Blade
in Spider-Man
Blade is
on
what attracted
95
people to
series.
the Marvel, because once they made that movie Blade, and he was out there killing vampires, and Wesley Snipes out there doing ninja shit, and fucking he was able to be a vampire in a day and night.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say this and you know, standing in the vein of the '90s. You know, Arnold and Stallone was those '80s action. So
Okay.
y'all didn't really have an action hero for y'all in the '90s, did y'all?
Yeah,
Snipes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme,
And Wesley though.
Wesley Snipes,
Wesley.
motherfucking-
Demolition Man. He did a lot. He did
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
of them
So
joints.
he was like that action hero for the '90s, you know, because I forgot about the Demolition Man.
Yeah.
He was just popping off movies like that throughout the '90s.
Yeah, Passenger 57 was my shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Wesley
yeah.
Wesley was definitely our action star. I don't claim Stallone, but I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie started going crazy in the 90s.
Yeah, because wasn't you know what
Those
movie?
Terminator joints.
Yeah,
He
they
did
started
some
going
stuff, yeah.
crazy.
Terminator. Yeah, I remember Terminator.
But he could do Last Action Hero. He could do pretty much any of that stuff. Like he could do anything. He was one of the guys that could do anything and it could go. You know what I'm saying?
At that
Kindergarten Cop.
time, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of
And I
action
watched
movies.
all them shits too.
But
I
yeah.
watched all them Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
I'm trying to think
back
who
then.
else. Who else? Yeah.
90s era, watch movies or TV?
Now,
Let's say
TV.
both.
We'll do TV. We do TV.
say
That was
both.
that emergence of black sitcoms, like really big.
Oh yeah.
Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him in order.
Okay, what was first?
In order?
Was it?
Cosby Show came from the 80s,
Yeah.
Into
that
the
was a
90s?
big one.
different world for me.
80s.
And late 80s.
Living Single, that was in the
Living
90s.
Single.
Yeah, later.
Martin was in the 90s.
I can't say
I got
anything
one
about these.
for
Fresh
y'all.
Prince of Bel Air was
One
in
of
the
the
90s.
greatest creations for '90s and launching a lot of black comedians was in Living Color.
And Living
Yes.
Color.
Yes, that
Comedians, period.
Comedians. Period.
Yeah, Jim Carrey and them
Jim Carrey.
too, yeah. But
Jamie
definitely
Foxx.
But you know
What
what?
else you had?
Jamie
All of
Foxx.
the Wayans brothers.
All of them.
Yeah,
All the Wayans
everybody.
brothers and sister.
And Jennifer Lopez was one of the dancers.
Dances, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah.
Yes,
So many stars
yes.
came out of that.
Yep.
Dog. But another thing that helped a lot of black comedians that was a show also was they used to come on HBO, Def Comedy Jam.
Of course, yeah.
Bro, I was not allowed to watch Def Comedy Jam, but my mom and them
I saw
would
you
watch
watch
it. We lived there in my grandmother's basement, and my mom and them would watch it, and she would tell us to go to bed. Me and my brother would put our ears against the wall
Oh yeah.
just so we could hear the TV, and them in there laughing at these jokes. We in there crying like because we were just out of pocket. Like, hey, Curtis, suck my dick,
You know,
motherfucker.
it seemed like '90s was that era when everything got real.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because
What do
when
you think?
when it comes to like comedy and shit, you gotta remember Richard Pryor when he was in the 80s, he started it. Eddie Murphy was in the 80s when he started it, and then that's what pretty much kicked it off for everybody else to kind of see like,
But
oh, yo, I don't have to be like Cosby. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be like Sinbad. I could go out there and actually get dirty with it. And then it kind of opened up a whole new world for comedy with within black comedians. Because you didn't see it like that until after Richard Pryor was going on stage talking crazy. He was talking
Yeah.
crazy.
But what I'm saying is, in that era, we didn't have the access to see that. Or
Nah.
you had to sneak somebody's records or
Mhm.
somebody's cassette to hear that.
Mhm.
Whereas, another thing that happened in the '90s was the explosion of the internet and cable
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. I mean, not everybody had cable in the '80s. Not
That's
everybody
true.
had it.
Music
So,
videos popped
my
off
grandmother
heavy in the
had-
90s.
Yeah, it's like
My
y'all
grandmother.
generation, man, just kind of like just
Yeah,
exploded.
because that's what MTV had.
I need my
Well,
MTV
MTV started in the 80s with music, but in the 90s they really
It went
shows and
crazy.
shit.
showed.
We're not gonna talk about Nickelodeon, but I'm gonna leave that alone for another segment. Nickelodeon in the 90s
Nickelodeon was
Yeah.
good in the 90s.
Yeah.
crazy. It was the
Yeah,
best.
what Nickelodeon had the best shows for our
The
age.
best.
The best shows, right? Everything from cartoons, talking about Rugrats, Cat Dog, Hey Dude, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Salute your shorts.
Salute Your Short. That was my shit.
What's it? RL
Salute Your
Style,
Shorts.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Pete and Pete.
Pete,
Fucking yeah, we had everything then.
Yeah, 90s.
my brother and me.
They used to call a nigga on there Pit Stains. His name was Pit Stains because he had a gland problem. He used to tell people, "I got a gland problem," and you would always make him sweat.
Best shows
But he was a bully.
ever, bro.
Because cable back then you had the black box.
Quality
You
shows.
had- I think
Big
you
as
had like
hell.
40, how many channels you had? Maybe like 60 channels.
Now you had you had the chip. You had the
My
chip.
dad
Don't
ended
worry
up
about
getting a hot box. And that shit was big as hell,
it.
yeah.
Getting the chip. Getting the chip.
Yeah, I had the hot box too.
You
Everybody
needed
had
the code to get the
We didn't-
dirty channels.
You ain't get a 90s.
We didn't now at one point me and Kev actually worked for a cable company, and I didn't realize how easy it was to just steal cable.
Oh yeah, we used to.
If I would have known what I know now back then, I would have been stealing cable
was
for
going
years.
up on the poles and tapping into the cable box.
Very easy.
Common
It was very easy. Yes, bro. I'm gonna tell you.
I think y'all era brought out on pay-per-view too.
Mm,
Yeah, it was so many things.
with the fights.
man.
Thanks, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was just that era, man.
Wrestling.
It was a shift. Like I said, things would explode.
Wrestling was, I mean, it was huge
Because that
before
was
the
the
90s,
pay-per-view.
but
No,
but
the
it
pay
turned
per
into-
view with wrestling.
yeah, well, wrestling in general, it turned into like a sitcom. It was like a soap opera in the
Yeah,
90s.
because the W.
Yeah,
Raw.
they started stealing motherfuckers from different shows and integrating, and these motherfuckers had story layouts like it was crazy. Motherfucking Stone Cold driving beer trucks into the damn joint, spraying motherfuckers with beer on the, like they just got out of
I
hand.
remember when The Rock was
Man
in
of
the
the
Nation.
Dead, Undertaker.
In the Navy.
Nation of Domination.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
he
wasn't
started.
watching
That's
it
where he
then.
started.
He started that
Nation of
with Bruce.
Domination.
He was with all of them, and he started becoming The Rock. Like he
Mhm.
just you just seen the emergence
That
of
the
The Rock.
charisma
Now, he's
and the
The Rock now.
characteristics. Yeah. And now he's
He's The Rock
he's,
now.
He's definitely The Rock. Well, now he's Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, Dwayne the
Yeah,
Rock
yeah,
Johnson.
yeah.
He millionaire now.
That little puff they used to have on the end of his shit. That
Little
shit gone.
curly
He
puff?
bald.
It's
He bald. He's Dwayne the Rock
Now,
Johnson.
now y'all remember
Too much
now,
product.
you talk about hair and stuff. Remember the clothing and stuff that we wore in the
If you had a
90s?
Jerry curl.
Okay.
He
Wow, the '90s clothing style. Good.
Oh, they phase wasn't like this back then, huh?
nah. In the 90s,
They phase was a little different. Shit was
in
starting
the
from here.
90s, dudes were starting to wear thug dudes wear baldy on purpose.
They were going bald.
No, they would just make it. They would just be bald. You had the baggy clothes, the emergence of your Timbs, the 12-inch Timbs that came all the way up to your damn calf muscle. Everybody had them Timbs, dog.
Yeah.
You had that. The emergence of first down jackets.
First downs.
And bubble
First
gooses
down.
and all that.
Yeah, the goose.
Triple
Yeah.
fat
Triple
goose.
fat goose.
Fat goose.
Peacoats.
Rugby.
Yo, to me, Peacoats was more in the 2000s. For me,
Carhartt.
Yo, the Carhartt
Carhartts,
jacket.
Carhartts and Dickies.
Yeah.
Dickies. Yeah.
Yo, I think that was the emergence of
Let's give our white listeners something that they might know,
what?
Oh, boy.
fashion wise.
Fashion?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big pants.
Oh, the
Okay,
big ass
okay.
bell bottom pants they used to
The
wear in
big
school.
pants. Yeah, that the goth,
skater
the
pants.
goth
Colorful
people used to wear.
scrunchies.
Okay.
I know,
Skater.
Ben. I know you're talking
Skater pants, the big ass
The skater
bell.
joints.
Oh, yeah,
The jingle jeans.
Yeah.
Goth was, is that when Goth
Goth,
started going heavy?
I felt
Yeah.
like was big back
Now,
then.
goth was real.
Yeah,
You had 9-inch nails. You had Nirvana. You had.
Nirvana still had one of the best songs ever. Something teenage.
smells like Teen Spirit.
Teen
I
Spirit.
still don't
Teen
know
Spirit.
that song.
You don't know Teen Spirit?
I know. We had this conversation. I don't know it. I don't know it. And people play it for me, and I'll be like,
And that,
cool.
And that was a cool thing about the 90s. You had options of how you wanted to dress. You could be preppy. You could be
Yep.
street. You know, you had choices. You know what I mean?
But now everybody just looks the same.
Nah, I still got Bugle Boy jeans.
Bugle Boy
I
girl.
still got
Yeah.
Bugle Boy jeans. Jordache.
But bro,
What's wrong with you?
cause some of that whole them clothing, because clothing you got your people got their clothing either for watching that's the emergence of X Games of
London
our
Fog.
our white listeners.
Oh, the skaters.
You had the skaters, the
Yeah.
BMXers,
Definitely BMX and skating.
rock.
What was the games?
Punk
What was the
rock,
games? The X Games. Yeah.
yeah.
X Games.
I
Yeah.
stayed dog in the 90s. I had to have me a big gigantic black hoodie, the biggest blue jeans I could find in Tim's. That's it. In a snapback fitted.
Had to have trees.
Wasn't swishy sets heavy back in
Oh,
the
yeah.
90s?
Back in the early
Swishies
90s.
came out around 93 between 95. Yeah, Swishies.
So
You walk around.
can I tell y'all something?
Go ahead, go for it.
One day, I was in 5th grade, and I had to wear. I had a swishy sweatsuit, and I was late for school or whatever. Back then, we could walk to school, and shit was wrinkled.
Oh shit!
Guess what I did?
Your shit Try to iron it.
Tried to iron
Oh,
the
no.
swishy sweatsuit.
Stuck to the iron.
Ruined it forever. Ruined it forever.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Bro, but
No bueno.
the colors, dog, in the 90s, like the colors, because I think that was what the merger of cross colors, man.
Cross colors.
Beautiful though, man.
I tell you, so many things came out of the 90s. You had cross colors. You had Carl Kanai.
I remember that.
You had
Hilfiger.
Hilfiger. Oh, I got one. South Pole.
South
Oh,
South
yeah.
Pole.
Yeah.
Now, didn't
And what my
South Pole have
thing-
Like a little, didn't they have a little character, like a little boy back then that would be on your jeans and stuff? They used to call him
I
little
know-
young boy, little
Holy.
bull.
Yeah, I know. I can't think.
Something like that. It was like young little bull. Or,
Something.
Young
had-
Bull Polly.
You had
Did you go L-
Jabot jeans. You had the Jabot
I thought that was
Jabos.
2000s.
Oh, and
Jabos were out before then, but it got popular for us down here in the 2000s.
It was popular in the.
about Fubu.
Yeah, when Fubu came out, listen.
We
real
have this
talk,
conversation
when
every
Fubu-
time.
Fubu came had a brief. It had like a brief shelf. life,
Shout out
bro.
to Damon John.
It had a brief shelf. life. It was
Listen.
like it hit.
I
and
think
it
we
was
did
Fashion.
Fubu dirty.
Fashion,
as a culture.
as a
I
culture.
think we did Fubu dirty
fashion,
because they made that specifically for the
For us,
culture,
by
for
us.
us as a
For
culture.
us.
And we, after we got it for a little bit, we ended up clowning. I think it ended up getting clowning because Fubu was one of the most capable of being bootleg clothing lines that was out there.
Oh yeah.
You could go anywhere
Well, listen.
on Canal Street or something. They'd have Fubu jerseys, all types of Fubu shit, be fake, and a person be like, "Oh, you got that shit from." So now you went to New York to get
We-
that shit too. You went to the
You know,
Palmyra
it
Mart.
seemed
You went.
like, it seemed like that time in the clothing industry, they was going hard at
bootlegging
each other.
every. Oh, I was gonna say it was
Everybody,
bootlegging
man. I mean,
everything.
You had Hilfiger. You had like you said,
Polo.
Polo.
South
Mark
Pole,
Echo.
Mark Echo, Ralph Lauren. You had they was
Pelly
going at it.
Pelly.
Pelly, and even
Remember RP? What was it? RP 55? RP.
I remember RP55.
Because Kev, those were Kev's favorite pair of jeans at one time. He had these fly ass RP 55s. If we was going out to see some girls, Kev pulling them RPs out, ironing them Jones down with right over the Timbs. They was boot cutting and everything.
And Kev will
With the-
crease them.
With the hat on. You know, Kev had 1,000 hats in the house. Yo, cuz, which one? This joint. Like, God
RP.
damn, nigga.
it was crazy, man. But again, at that time, you had variety
No,
of everything.
You did.
You know, your flavor was yours.
Yeah.
Whatever you was feeling.
Our shit was a little different in Philadelphia. I'm not gonna lie. Like when y'all talk about Fubu, we never thought Fubu was cool. We never thought South Pole was cool. Like if you had Fubu, niggas will clown you from the gate. You had South Pole, niggas will clown you from the gate.
Which is weird though. I mean, now when you think about it, it's like if somebody that's doing something for the culture, you try to
exactly.
support it. You want to bring them up.
It was a
You don't
goofy
say-
name though.
It wasn't well.
Goofy abbreviation. I think For
Yeah.
Us By Us was great, but calling it Fubu was like
And then
by us,
And
fuck you.
yeah, and then Redman and fucking Method
It's
Man
Boo-Foo.
fucked them all up.
It's Boo-Foo.
This boo-foo, nigga. Buy us, fuck you.
But now I'm all for that type of stuff. And like I said, shout out to Damon John. But when it came to clothes, when to me in '98 is when stuff started to be a little bit more uniformic. So like, which I made up. So like
Good word.
at that point, you started to wear whatever the drug dealers wore around '98. If they were on the corner wearing polo, then you literally like you knew like, all right, I got a polo shirt. Like Easter came, it was like, all right, polo's the thing. I know I'm gonna get a polo shirt. You know what I'm saying? Can't get the same polo shirt as my man over there, so I gotta get the green polo shirt with the pink horse, and then I gotta get Guess jeans, and then I gotta get
took it.
trees, and then I gotta get different assortment of trees. You can't just get the 6-inch Jones. Now I'm gonna get the 2-tone Jones or the field boots. Like you start dressing more like the drug dealers.
We
around
started
98.
I think we were more off of like music videos and shit. Cause remember there was a time where we was buying jerseys right before 2000 happened. That's when we really started fucking with the jerseys and shit. And then when the 2000 came, we could actually afford getting the ones we wanted. but
Throwbacks and shit.
yeah,
You know what I think?
And
I think the industry knew the buying power of our culture of hip hop, and they just exploited it. They just kind of was like,
yeah, of course.
this is because I remember Timberland he came out and said, "I make my shoe." You know about it,
Yep,
Trey? You know
absolutely.
What I'm talking about?
Yep.
He said, "I don't make my shoe for the hip hop community or rappers. I make my shoe for the sportsmen and the rapper wants to wear my shoe, then so be it. So
Right.
it was something in that
Yep.
context, you know.
Tommy did the same thing
But-
too.
Shout me up for
But he said that, but by 2000, man, you had Timberlands in every color.
Mhm.
Every
Yep.
color.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because once they
It went
realized,
crazy.
He went
Yeah.
once they
crazy.
realized, they probably was sitting in the boardroom too, like, oh, these motherfuckers is wearing
You
this and
say
wearing
niggas.
that,
You
and
say
then
niggas.
the next boardroom meeting, they were like, now our sales are up by 1,000%. He was like, give them what they want, any color. They got. Can we make fatigues for those in the hoods
We did.
bro.
and
You know,
those
you
in the
got
projects?
Red,
Yeah.
blue,
Yeah,
green.
Timberland store.
Kev had green.
I went to
Did
the
you?
outlet.
Did you have green?
I went to the outlet. They have Timberland everything.
yeah.
I had
Yeah.
a Timberland. I had Timberland. I had Timberland.
I had a
hoodie.
Timberland backpack.
Everything.
Timberland. I had the. It was like the brown, like this color, a coffee brown, dark brown mahogany Timbs.
Mm-hmm.
The all leather joints, the brown. Like I had to have. Like yo, nobody
Yellow.
I never had yellow.
No, I'm saying they had yellow.
yeah.
Like they wasn't nubuck. They was leather Jones.
Also, another thing that came out in the 90s was Champion. Really got
Yeah.
really
Which
big.
came,
Absolutely.
Which came back again.
Fila too, right?
Yeah.
That
Was
90s?
no Feli was 80s, right?
That was
Oh,
90s.
Fila
Feli was 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing it that much in the 80s. It
They had
might have
the
been.
sweatsuits and stuff. Yeah, but that might have been early 90s
it
though.
was
Early-
Late 80s, early
Late
90s.
80s,
Yeah.
Jokers used to have that big Fila across their chest when they wore the sweaters, the big Fila ones, and the champion hoodies, the original champion hoodies, them shits with the big seal on
With
them.
the big C. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, it's funny, man.
It
That
went
was
back
nice.
to that.
It was nice back then, man. You could really, because you know what, you didn't need $400 to have a nice set
Oh
on.
yes, you did, bro.
You know what I'm saying? What?
Not then. I mean,
Not
it's
then.
like-
$400?
At your feet, though. When it came to your feet, you spent them. That's
Bro,
when all the money.
wait. No, because back then you wasn't buying sneaks for $100.
George.
I remember
George was
seeing-
$100.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before then. I'm talking about early 90s. When you saw
No.
sneakers, you said Jordan was $100, but not, see, we'll get to that. We'll get to the
first
Jordan
pair of Jordan
craze.
came out in like what, 89?
Yeah, but that wasn't, see, my thing is back then, we all didn't, like, it wasn't like it was 96 on where everybody had Jordans.
Yeah.
People had on, Reeboks. People had on
Yeah.
Filas. People had on,
Yeah, because the
And
pumps came out when the
Yeah,
pumps came out in the 90s.
and
them
they
shits was
weren't-
fire.
Was
it wasn't a bean.
British
Yeah.
Knights,
Was
dog.
that
80s?
80s?
British Knights was 80s, but they didn't. They went under.
They went under.
They went under. And K Swiss.
Case was still
Case
kicking.
was-
Still kicking.
Case-
So, yeah.
But very lightly.
Wasn't Case was? Didn't you like had like a brief stint in the '90s, like just at the
Brief.
like
You
1990s?
crazy. Everybody had
Yeah.
on K Swiss.
Yeah, at one
Yeah.
point,
Girls
that
loved
was
them.
definitely a woman.
That was
shoe.
their
That was a woman.
that
shoe.
was their Air Forces.
Yeah.
See,
Yep.
That was their Air
Yeah,
Force.
and it would look cute as shit on
Yes,
them.
they
too.
would.
in that 90s industry, I mean that 90s era, the industry was just bananas, man. And, I mean, on both sides, male and female. You know, you had the LA Gears from women. You had DNKY.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
man. It was just
I remember
crazy.
DNKY had a pair.
Donna
Of
Karen, New
Donna
York.
in New York.
Yeah,
I had
man.
a pair. I had a DNKY.
Why
shit,
though?
dog. Cause I had to, dog. It's had the big ass
Why,
DNKY
though?
on there, dog. And that big ass DNKY.
You gotta get the dinkney.
Oh, you can't forget about Gucci.
See, I wasn't as blessed to have the Gucci, but you are
I
correct.
never had Gucci.
I wasn't blessed like that. My dad did get me a fake watch from somewhere that turned my wrist green, but you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
Remember in '98 was like 96, 97, the emergence of like Gucci sweaters.
Gucci sweaters.
Biggie
Made it cool,
Had to
but
be
Bill Cosby was rocking them before then. But Biggie made it cool.
to have the
Yeah.
Gucci sweater.
And
dog.
listen,
I had a bootleg one. That
Son
shit
of
was
this.
thin as hell.
it was dudes in middle school rocking Gucci sweaters and the silk
And my
Gucci
shoes-
shirts.
Yeah.
What was their parents doing?
I don't know because I had.
I really want to know that.
know.
They
man.
was the ones that you was trying to get like with the polo shirts. Their parents was on the block with the polo shirts.
Maybe
and
you
was
right,
walking
yo.
past them.
Because dudes would come in and you be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, yo, this dude got on a Gucci sweater.
I mean, you gotta think about that. Even when we were in high school, you know what I'm saying? Like certain people, like remember when Iceberg came out? And I'm going to the 2000s,
Yes.
but they were expensive ass sweaters.
Yes.
So when you came to school and you see a nigga with an Iceberg sweater on, that shit's like $250.
More.
You looking at him like,
More.
nigga, what is you doing to be wearing an
bro?
Iceberg sweater? My dad
More.
is looking at me crazy about asking him for $100 pair of sneakers, and you talking about a sweater. My dad want me to wear them sneakers every day.
Yep.
You gonna wear that sweater maybe once a month.
Yep.
You're not wearing it in the summertime because it's hot.
So do y'all think that, like I said again, that the industry, the fashion industry,
Oh, yeah.
took advantage in the 90s?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, they took
That's
it away.
because they knew, like I don't know who said it, the buying power of the hip hop fans, or at least the urban community. That it got to be crazy, because
They got nuts.
when you talk about, like, just like I said, when somebody says, "Oh, how that guy got a Coogee sweater," you gonna get it, and then if he get it, he's cool now.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna try to get it.
Just imagine them having this marketing plan from the door. A&R's deciding, you know what, we're gonna link up with this clothing
That's
line
what they
from the
do
door.
now.
We're gonna link up with this clothing line from the door, right? We got a business with them. Now we're gonna start getting these motherfuckers that's in the hood that ain't never had nothing. We're gonna put them on. If they hot, we're gonna put them on, and then we're gonna show them how to have stuff and make our product that we have, that we're associated with. They wear that and make it a big name. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Like, think about it. Tommy Hilfiger wasn't really big, and then it really blew up after an artist started wearing it.
Well,
That's just a
a
hypothesis.
quick little history. When Run DMC came out in the 80s, they was wearing Adidas. They didn't know anything about endorsing.
Right.
They were just, this is what they wear. But overnight, Adidas sales just skyrocketed.
See,
So,
Yeah.
did they make a deal?
then they finally made a deal with Adidas, and then, but when they first did it, they didn't know that
Right.
they was making Adidas all this money just by wearing their stuff. That was just what they
Especially because there was no social media. There's nobody to tell them what the numbers is. Like, they can't see that. Like, nowadays, you can, if you're an artist and you're wearing clothes and you're hot out there, like say you Jay-Z, and you decide to promote Grey Goose. You know what I mean?
Which was a big
Everybody's
thing.
gonna buy Grey Goose, and when he notices that, he can hit them up and be like, "Yo, you see, I'm making your sales go up. I need a check. If not, I can say something and make that sale go down because I have that power. Oh, I ain't drinking this no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm drinking Ace of Spades now.
But that's his stuff. He tells us.
I'm just saying, like, if using that as an example, I mean, especially a big name like Jay-Z, that's a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, think about it. When Jay-Z first came out, he was wearing the motherfucking Yankees hats. Them shits shot the fuck up.
I had it.
Shot up.
They went crazy. They flooded the market with them. They was
Shot
everywhere.
up. Think about it. They had
niggas wasn't
state
from
property.
New
They
York,
created
man.
state property
Well,
clothing.
I mean,
Went
I
crazy,
just
at least on the
got
East
the
Coast.
same color Phillies hat.
You got a blue Phillies hat.
Yes, that's what we
I-
did. That's what we
Yeah,
did.
but
But he
even
made a
then,
good point, man, 'cause
just
that-
it could have been just new era in
we ain't
itself.
played none of
Because
that.
back then, all you gotta do is, if you look and you're like, yo, he got a fire ass hat. Oh, what is it? Oh, those are new era hats. New era hats go up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not only do they
Phillies,
see Yankees, they
Phillies.
see Phillies. They see all types of shit.
That's when the artists in the 90s got wise. They was like, you know what, man? Then I want a shoe deal, or I want a clothing deal. Naughty by Nature. Every artist that came out, once they get hot, they start a clothing line or something, or a cologne or something. People just got smart, got hip to the industry because they found out, like you said, man, they making all this money. Shoot, man, let's make a deal.
You know who else? Well, we was gonna talk on big money maker back in the day. The explosion of Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Michael
God.
Jordan was the man.
MJ.
Came in 80, 89 and all that, but really started coming into power in the 90s when he started winning championships. And he started
96.
his
Wait,
sneakers.
Before
90,
96.
like
They was
93,
they were
maybe.
watching Mike since he been in the league.
Yeah,
Because
89.
They were losing, but Mike was still scoring. He
Balling
was still
out.
doing his thing.
but
But when they started surrounding him with players that could feed him properly, you know what I'm saying, do what they needed to do, then Mike really started taking off. I think that started, what, like 93, 94?
no,
So
They
92,
started-
the Olympic
92.
Dream Team.
Do
The Dream
anybody
Team.
know the history behind the Air Jordans?
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, where he could.
No, I was going. I
yeah.
want you to. No, I don't know. I'm saying
about to
let's
say,
go.
Where he could, he had the red and black versions. He
'Cause I
was
feel like
wearing
you
the
was
core, and
there.
they stopped.
What it was, they said, we're going to put out a sneaker for you, Mike. It's going to be called Air Jordans. Okay, they put the sneaker out. Nike sales went through the roof.
Nobody was buying Nike, right?
But what happened was, Mike, when he went and checked the money, he's saying that Nike was making more money than they was giving him.
Sounds about right.
I mean, they gave him a nice chunk of change, but he was like, well, shit. if they can make that money, that's when he got wise and he said, I'm cutting from them and I'm gonna patent my name and I'm gonna sell Jordans.
Right.
It's something
Because they were like
they're
a
still
separate
under Nike.
brand. It was a
Jordan's still under the
weird.
Nike
It
brand.
was a weird deal for a while though.
It's Nike Air is theirs. Jordans is Michael Jordan.
I think they got like a.
It's a weird deal.
It was a weird.
It's
Yeah,
a weird
it's
deal.
like a weird deal.
That's why you the first Jordans, the ones is the only one you see a Nike sign on. After that, you don't see the check is not on any pair of Jordans. After that, you never see that check. You would never see Nike. You would never see that check on them sneakers.
There was Nike on a couple pairs.
What pair?
There was Nike on. Let's see.
No, there was no
I
Nike.
think only the OG pairs.
Just the original
Yeah,
ones. That was
see.
it.
Back in the beginning.
Back in the beginning.
But you know,
Not a bunch of them. Just I remember
that's
like another
business,
one.
man, and he had to figure it out. And once he figured out how the money wasn't right, he's like he put a patent on his name, and then he did his cologne, and
Mike blew up.
went
Mike
crazy.
was on
Yeah,
everything.
but he was on Hanes forever.
yeah, he had Railback, he had Hanes.
He was on commercials where he was on the airplane, motherfuckers asking him about his drawers.
Yeah.
That shit is weird.
That was me.
But, yo, you remember
Hey,
Mark?
Mike,
What
how
drawers you
how
got
stay
on?
so comfortable on the court? It's got to be the Hanes.
But yo,
That's not what he
he
said.
did not say that, dog.
But it was
My drawers.
But it was seem like after that Space Jam thing, man, he just was like
went
in a
crazy.
man. It was just-
That's when he
gone.
came.
Sorry, LeBron.
That's when he
He
came
was
back.
gone, man. He
But
was
when
gone.
because Martin used to have different pair of Jordans every show. On the TV show, Martin had a different.
Yeah.
He stayed with Jordans. Him and Will Smith. They always rock Jordans on TV. Like if you had to be on TV, you was hot. You had to have Jordans dog,
Right.
on your feet.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford them. I never afforded a pair of Jordans as a kid.
That was my point earlier. Like, yeah, like Jordan was popular, but we all wasn't walking around in Jordans like we did in the late '90s.
But I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this.
Yep. Because I'm about to say, my fives got him.
That's certain.
Whatever
That
he
was
said.
what year was that? That was like the second release of the Jordan.
No,
right?
these are the fives.
No, they like
After that,
not
that was
all
it.
of them had them, but
Not
like
all of them had them.
had like
series.
Nike on them. Yeah, but
first
after
five.
that, none of them had them. It was
Yeah.
the Jordan symbol.
It was the Jordan.
That's
symbol.
it right there. It's just me. Me
Oh
going like
yeah,
this.
the Jones, the Sixers got them because I got Jones with the Nike sign. The Sixers got, I think it's all the way up to maybe the Sixes.
Well,
So 6 years.
Like them,
Nike,
yeah.
if the Nike emblem
Those
on it,
fives,
they
fours.
must have made a deal with him.
It's like a sharing deal or
Yeah,
something like
sharing
that.
deal.
Yeah, it
he
gotta be
probably
something.
has a distribution deal with his
'Cause you-
own shit, and then
Well,
they're
what happened
through
when
Nike.
when he
Remember
put
the
that
Teen
patent on-
Jordans?
when he put that patent on his name,
That
they
was-
can't even use his name.
Right.
They gotta.
Because you
Oh,
remember,
yeah,
right.
remember Jordan in the video games, when he put a patent, he
Player
was player.
99.
He was player.
Player
If
99.
you played with Michael Jordan on all the video games back in the day, it was player 99.
NBA
And
Live.
Never all of that. You could not have Michael Jordan.
Couldn't have
team.
Michael.
It would say player. They say 99 player, but you knew who it was though.
Yep, ball head ass.
Yeah, that's because
Let's
they
think
they
about
wouldn't
it.
want to pay him or something like that. He wanted like an absurd amount of money to
Let's
be
think
on the
about it this
game or
way. How
something
much
like that.
money
He should have been in front of every game.
How much money y'all think Michael Jordan made for the Chicago Bulls brand?
Endless still.
Insurmountable amount.
Still.
Of money.
Still to this day.
Think
Still.
about it. The first championship was probably insane itself. Him coming out with Jordans and the whole controversy of him having the sneakers on, him wearing red and black, and then
I'm
them
about to
making
tell
him
you.
not wear them no more,
Yeah.
saying he couldn't wear them, and then they went crazy, and then they ended up letting them
But you
wear
talking
it
about the
again.
Bulls. You
You
had
know, you know for a
It's
fact.
the NBA that
back-
didn't want him to wear it.
Back then, when you would buy Jordans, if you would, there would be you had red and black Jordans because it was the OG colors, or black and white. But you had to have, like, even if you didn't have like the pants or nothing like that, you had to have a jersey. You had to have a Bulls shirt. You had to have a Bulls hat. You had to have a Bulls pullover. Like, you really had to go crazy with it.
I was a hardcore Knicks fan, so that shit was not touching my body.
Unless you had Larry,
No,
but you could have had Larry
that
Johnson,
shit wasn't
and then
touching.
you had to have the
I-
Hornet shit.
Yeah.
Was he on the Hornet? He was on the Knicks. My bad.
Ooh, Larry Johnson
Larry Johnson was on the Hornets too, but
yeah.
you had to have like the
That-
colors matching.
Yeah, that Jordan shit would not touch my body. I would never put a Jordan jersey on. I never owned a Jordan jersey, but I seen niggas had the
Kev, I saw you at Jordan
No, I
jersey.
didn't.
Fuck out of here.
dudes had the fly Jordan jersey I ever seen for the Bulls was the all black with the white pinstripes. That jersey right, that pinstripe jersey.
Kev, didn't you own a pair of ones though?
Nigga. Let me say it again. Bulls. No, I own one pair of sneakers. I said Bulls attire. You'll never see no.
Kev,
I think
I saw
bought
him in
one
Jordan.
Bulls
He had Jordan 13s.
Did he?
Yes,
Yeah.
black and red.
That was the first
Oh
pair
yeah,
of
that
Jordans-
was your favorite pair
Yeah,
too.
first pair of Jordans I wore.
Yeah.
I said bullshit.
You would buy him again, right?
I say Nick. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not walking around.
Can't wait
as a
until you
kid
went to the
with
Wizards and start
bullshit
buying
on.
this shit.
You would buy him again.
No, I did. I had a Knicks hat back in the day as a kid. I had a Knicks hat and then a Knicks pullover. My mom had.
Go,
You know
y'all
what
keep
I'm saying?
going.
I had a Knicks pullover and shit. Knicks was
My
that was
wife.
my shit. But Jordan,
Skating.
at that height of the thing, Jordan was fucking everywhere. Jordan was on. Remember the McDonald's commercial Jordan had?
Milk
Listen, I want to go
McDonald's,
off the rim,
milk.
off Kev head,
Nigga,
underneath
he
this.
did a commercial with Michael fucking Jackson.
Oh, he did a video.
Yeah.
He did a
He
music
did a video and he
Did
did
a
a
lot of shit,
commercial.
yeah, did a lot of shit.
Because they used to play a commercial. They just had a commercial. It would come on, remember, and they would do that off of this, off of
That
that.
was like him
and
and
then
Larry
Mike
Bird.
did the one where he kicked it. Mike did the one where he kicked it behind him and it bounced off all that shit and he made it.
Yeah,
And I was like, it's two mics on here, and that's a lot of money
Well,
on TV.
Anyone, Michael,
well,
Jordan, Jackson, action.
Everybody want to be like Mike.
Yeah, everybody.
Listen,
That shit was crazy.
you know, to keep it 100, he shaped that era, man.
He did.
Like, you can't talk about the 90s without talking about Michael Jordan.
Correct.
You
Can't.
can't listen. I mean,
You know,
he
like I said, it just, you know.
he tortured me as a kid, but
Kev, he ain't think nothing about your ass while he was frying your team.
How many great players
Jordan,
never got a ring because of Jordan?
Karl Malone, Gary finally
Piece of
got
shit.
one. Barkley, damn, he robbed a lot. Like with Jordan
He robbed Karl Malone.
He specially robbed the
Tough.
Knicks though, and the Jazz.
and the Pacers.
He robbed the
Pacers,
shit out of him.
Reggie
Oh,
Miller-
Reggie.
Reggie Miller
God,
got
Reggie.
one. Reggie wouldn't get one. Mike stopped a lot of guys in that
Mike
era from getting
the rings.
the rings.
Until
I
he
feel
left.
like they should have just got together and shot him. Just get together, somebody. You know how Nancy Kerrigan did. You don't want to.
I
Y'all want to talk
remember
about that.
Y'all
Y'all want to
remember
talk about that.
Nancy Kerrigan in 19 that was that was 90.
It was in the 90s,
That was
yes.
the 92 Olympics, right?
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
why
yeah.
not? They didn't just get together. Somebody take a steel pipe, boom,
Buzz his leg.
Air Jordan my ass.
Yeah.
If they were scared, they probably, they was going to catch something.
That ain't gonna be
NBA.
wheelchair
You
Jordan.
fucking with- yeah, you fucking with their money pot. You know what I mean? They probably got the
NBA.
Illuminati in there too.
Probably.
You know what I
Probably.
mean?
Air Gordon.
Air Jordan. Air wax.
You know what they did? They did it to Horace Grant
What you mean?
because he was the next up to beat Jordan. Remember, Horace Grant was that nigga back
Was
then.
he?
He ended up, yeah,
I thought he
and
was just
he
a
ended up getting hurt, and that was it. Somebody probably took his ass
Horace
out.
Grant? I feel like Horace Grant was just a,
I mean, not
a
Horace
role
Grant,
player.
Grant Hill. My bad.
Oh, that's why I'm sitting there like Horace Grant. It's a role player. Yo, yeah, Grant Hill was that nigga, yo. For real, I definitely had on some Grant Hills. He shouldn't have signed with Feli.
Wow, them shits were fire.
They
though.
were the first
He
ones.
probably, if he didn't get hurt,
He
he probably
had
would have
two.
took that shit. Feel I probably would have been on another. If
They
he
needed
never
better
got
shooters on
hurt,
those.
man, listen, I didn't personally like the ones when Jordan came out. I don't like the ones now, the OGs. I just think I don't like the twos neither. You know what I
do
mean?
not
I
like
don't like
the
the twos or the threes.
They look like boats.
I loved the first kicks. Horace Grant. I mean, I keep saying this nigga, this bug-eyed
Yo,
nigga name.
nah. It's Horace Grant. Don't worry about it.
Grant Hills. The
Your
first
favorite player,
felines
Horace
he came with,
Grant.
he came out with was the Fila, the high top jaws, and they came out in three colors. It was all white with the red and black strip. They was all black with the red strip, and then you had they came out with an alternative color. It was like their away color.
What
like
about
a
the
red
ones
with
that was like blue with the big Feli sign on the sole? Was that the twos?
yeah, it had to be the second.
Well, I
one.
had the ones. I had the original Grant
Yeah,
Hill sneakers.
I had the white ones,
I had the white ones.
and them
too.
shits were great.
That's
Them
the
shits
only
were
pair of
great.
feet
One day, guys, will finish our sneaker battle.
that we never finished.
One day.
All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
speaking of '90s moments in history, dog, the most do some political shit, but the fucking the OJ trial and the Rodney King beating, those was the height,
man.
the height
Yeah.
of the.
These were the first.
You
I
know
thought these
what?
was the first,
That
these was the
time
second.
was when
These was dope.
America, racism reared its ugly head.
Damn, look at these. I'm aware. Yo,
That was probably like one of the first
I'm
times
aware of
I felt
these.
the divide
in the country
In the
because
country.
of Rodney King beating.
because of the Rodney King beating
Where it is
and
now, nigga?
the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah, because when Rodney King, I remember the Rodney King beating happened. My dad was showing me like they had. That's the first time you seen the cops beat a man on
How
TV.
long did it take for your mom to threaten you to beat you like Rodney
Nah,
King?
mom never thought me like Rodney King.
I don't buy that.
My dad sat me down and told me, "Oh, this is how cops do you." Like this was like the first time. Like now with George Floyd and all that other incident is like every day, but that was like the real first time the shit got caught on camera because nobody's walking around with camera phones and shit like that. That
Right.
Rodney
Yeah, he
King
had a
beating-
whole video camera holding that shit
And,
like
and
this.
they all got off.
He went from family videos
So
to
They
actual.
tore L.A. You don't remember the L.A. riots?
I do. Let me
That was the first TMZ.
let me ask you, how did it feel around that time? Because I was a kid. Like, what was the feeling?
What was that? 90? What was that?
90.
90. What was that?
Okay,
Right?
I don't
95.
think-
I think
Was
I
it 95? Really?
94, 90. I know where I was working. It was around 90. I think it was 94ish, 94ish, 95.
Got you.
So I was probably like 29. Dude, it
Here on the mic. On the mic.
really,
On the mic.
you really felt the man. You could feel the divide. It was a real heavy divide. You know you thought a lot of your friends that you were cool that were non-white or non-black or whatever. You could just feel like they had a bias about it. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. It was
Kinda
real-
like
That sounds familiar.
Kinda
Yeah,
like
that
now.
sounds
crazy.
familiar.
It sounds real crazy.
That's crazy when you
You
think
know.
about it, and history repeats itself.
I mean, even when the OJ trial was going,
OJ got off.
when OJ got off,
did it.
I was working in the warehouse. I ain't, I don't got an ounce of prejudice in me at all. A lot of my white friends was mad. Bullshit,
He did it.
bullshit. He did, fucking bullshit. I'm like,
the one time we got
Can I let
off.
y'all know?
The one time we got off. That is the one time we got off for doing some shit. Then not getting sentenced to life for killing a white woman.
He did it.
Whatever.
He did it.
Yo, but dog, at that time, niggas, brothers was cheering that this dude got off. Do you remember?
I
People
still-
was having
I still
I'm
do.
gonna be honest with you, Kevin. I'm glad you said that. It was an eerie feeling, dude. I remember the day that the verdict came through. You turn on the news, black
That was
people
like
in the
95.
barbershops like, hey, cheering. I'm like, what the fuck are you cheering about,
Yep.
man? Somebody got murdered
Right.
bad,
But they let him.
and it was
They
just,
let him go.
it was crazy
Because
dude.
it was OJ. OJ had a different. The way people the way people. The way-
If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. The GOAT, Johnny Cochran. The
R.I.P.
GOAT.
man. But it was crazy. I walked into the supermarket, man, and the supermarket was quiet. Nobody said nothing. You could just feel you can feel the tension. You can cut it with a butter knife.
They was waiting for you to steal some shit, Uncle
they-
Mike.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
They
It
was
crazy.
waiting for you to
Nah,
steal
man.
some shit.
This is for Nicole Brown Simpson, buddy.
NBS.
It was crazy.
No, it's just that right there, that whole trial. Like I said, I was like happy as hell that OJ got off. Like, yo,
Yo,
you
my
I
should
don't
have a
remember.
big-
my parents, my grandparents, they were happy. I remember them being happy about the situation because nobody really wanted it to be OJ to do it. You know what I'm saying? And when they're looking at the evidence
rest in
and,
peace,
and
Ron,
it seems
yo.
as though the evidence doesn't align with him, then everybody's like, you know how it is. You're gonna support your own. You know what I mean? Nah, he say he ain't do it. He ain't do it. He OJ. He the number one running back in the
I'm
league
not
right
black.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm OJ. No, he was out the league by then. But
out
he's
the
not
league.
black. He's
He
okay.
was way out of the league.
Yeah,
But the
he's
thing
not
was,
black. He's
I
OJ.
think what it was is because
Yeah,
everybody
we all
always
was,
seen
except for Uncle
in
Mike.
that situation, they always seen black
Nah,
niggas go to
true.
court like this. And
That's why that's my
and
felt.
get the shit extreme. The extreme. Oh, you're gonna get triple life for where a
Yeah.
white man committed the same crime. You might get 10 years.
No. He don't go to jail
Or you
because
don't go to jail.
it's a shadow of a doubt. So he couldn't have did it. Like that's
so
how it
when
goes.
that's why people cheered the whole OJ thing off because it's like, yo, a black man got off from killing a white woman. It was like that shit was unheard of at that time.
We should unpack that though, because
Yeah,
that's
we
kind of
should.
crazy.
But I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about it. How long ago was that? Let's say
That had to be 95.
95. So we talking about what? 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And we still here in 2021, 2020 with George Floyd. Like, America doesn't learn, man. We see these things over and over again, and we still, like, we're not advancing. We're not getting past this shit. This racism shit has got a stranglehold.
So deep.
Man.
So deep.
Bad. It's bad.
They all, but
so deep.
A lot of my white counterparts, oh man, you got it better than what you used to have. I'm like, damn,
who the fuck told you that?
Motherfucker said
Who
that.
told you
I heard
that?
motherfuckers say that shit.
They needed an uppercut, bro.
Like,
For real.
It used to be a lot worse.
That's
you know.
crazy.
It used to be, I ain't lose my job with the fucking redneck racist. Bro.
That's
But
crazy, bro.
The thing, it's
Sorry, that's
it's
directed
just-
at one person.
it's just, man, we see this over and over, and
Damn.
and then we see the riots, and we see the destruction, innocent people getting beat up and hurt, businesses being destroyed, and 25 years later, it's still happening.
The saddest shit was
That's crazy,
the,
man.
when the Rodney King beating happened, and you see the black man out there. They burnt his store down. He crying. He said, "This is my store. Y'all burning down their own neighborhood. I built this shit. I'm a black man just like you.
Right.
Why would you burn my store down?"
See, and this is what I think what people gotta understand. When the riots start, that usually that don't got nothing to do with what happened. It's just certain people who's taking advantage of a free opportunity to get free goods.
Yep.
Can I counter that?
Go ahead, go for it.
What I think with the riots that just happened, to me, I feel like you got people that do that, definitely, 100%.
Okay.
But then you got people who like, yo, we done protested, we done, you know what I mean? We try to treat people the best way we can. We try everything else. The only thing that they understand, like, you want to lash out, but you don't want to go like, I can't lash out against you. I can't go kill a white person because they're gonna put me in jail or kill me.
They didn't.
I just need to go crazy.
But the
I
thing,
mean, it seems, you know, and the reality is, and we all know this, it seems like shit, somebody got to die, shit got to get fucked up, you know, nationwide before, hey, let's do something.
Right.
It should never have to come to that. When you see something is wrong, deal justice.
Right.
yeah, do it.
Absolutely.
Do it then, because that's what, like I said, them riots over there when that Rodney King beat happened, they just wanted. You had the videotape. You seen the full thing. All they wanted cops
They
prosecuted.
just wanted them prosecuted, and they should have been.
And they did
Because they didn't. I mean, now I know two wrongs don't make it right, but like Dre said, I mean, you know, you march, you protest, you do all these things, and then, like you say, no one. It just falls upon deaf ears, so people just take it upon themselves.
Not only that, but
how long did that riots last for?
I don't know.
It
It was something
days,
crazy.
it was like 6
I'm about to
days
say,
or something like
was
that,
it
right?
days? Yeah.
I don't know
It was
exactly
like
how long it was, but it was
ridiculous.
days. And it's like we on the East Coast, so it wasn't nothing to really show us
Right.
what was happening
Except for the
out
news.
there in the West Coast
Right.
before that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To us, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really see really see like police brutality in our area. So we seen them
Right.
fucking with us, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they wasn't going around whooping our asses. You know what I'm saying?
that.
So when we seen that, it was like shocking us. Like, damn, they doing that out there. You know what I'm saying? That's how we were looking at it. But
Is Rodney King dead?
but for them,
Yeah, he died. He died later on.
Yo, that,
Wow.
but that,
yeah,
that
but for them, they probably were going through it for so long and seeing it on a normal basis. They probably were seeing it on the news. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah.
Over there,
Well,
and not knowing what's going on. We not
getting
knowing
back
what's
to the
going on.
music. A lot of your West Coast artists was talking about that. We couldn't kind of understand that, 'cause like you said, we, you know, for the most part, we weren't subjected to it, at least to that degree.
yeah.
But when we saw that Rodney King video, oh man, everybody, the world saw that. That was an eye opener, man.
That sparked Rodney King beating sparked the biggest march
Yo,
in
Frank.
Washington, the Million Man March back in
Yes.
1995. When a million black men descended on, and we ain't descend like a.
And we didn't run up in the state
Yeah,
capitol.
we didn't
Correct.
We ain't do
And
King
we shoulda,
George
right?
shit.
You would think we should have. They'd have murdered all of us.
Everybody,
They
they
would've
dropped the
dropped-
napalm
bomb
on that
dropped
building.
a bomb on us.
They did what they did in Philly.
I was too young to go to the first Million Man March, but I did go to the second Million Man and more. I did make it to that march.
How many men was
Me
it?
and my dad
But you know what?
went to that
That's
march.
something
How
y'all
many men was it?
should talk about, how the Million Man March and the insurrection at the Capitol, and look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the outcome. We
Ours is
came in
peaceful.
peaceful.
Yeah.
A million of us.
Peaceful, no
A
fight.
million of us.
Yeah, just think of 1 million people decided to come out for war.
Whew.
Think if they all came out and they thought it was a peaceful, and then they all just had straps. They all was ready to just. They was on some fucking shit. A million
A
people.
bomb.
They would have dropped.
Yeah,
They would have dropped.
a
They
bomb.
nuke. They would have nuked the shit out.
They
of
would
it.
have.
They did that.
They would've
That's
called in.
Philadelphia.
That's what I said. They would have did what they did to Philly.
Yeah.
They
They
would've
would
like
have
Wall
called.
Street
They would have
too.
called in the Air Force, man. They'd have been there in like 10, 15.
Yeah,
When-
they bombed-
when
they
was
Flying
when
over,
was
just
the
shoot
bomb?
them down.
When did they bomb West
They
Philadelphia?
bombed-
That was
they-
85.
The rage on Osage Avenue. Mayor Good was the mayor of Philadelphia. He dropped the bomb on the move the move movement. Those people.
The Black Panthers. No,
No, the move. It
What
was
was it?
move.
What was they about?
They, I don't know a lot about them, but they was living in a part of, I think it was either West Philly or it was some part of Philadelphia, and they was like Ramona, Africa, and all of them. They have a strange culture, and basically they were nasty, and people was complaining about them, like, yo, you need to get these people out of here. They got these kids, and they throwing dog feces over the fence. It was crazy.
Oh, it was wild.
So the city was trying to get them out, fighting with them, going back to court and get them out, and eventually they got it passed where they could move them out, and they barricaded themselves up in this compound that they had out in Philly, and they had like a standoff with the police, and then Mayor Good said drop the bomb on the roof, and then when he did, it blew up and killed some kids, and then it caught like the whole block on fire, like 20 something 30 homes got burned up. It was crazy. You can go online and find out about that.
And that was in the 90s.
No, that was in
No, it was
85.
80s.
Yeah.
That was a year after I was born.
But
That's
he
why I
was saying in
remember.
reference to like if
That we
like
did.
Kev said if we
Mhm.
went down there a million strong and started to go buck wild,
Yeah, the
what-
bombs.
Yeah, they bombed-
yeah,
yeah, but
they
Yeah, the
mowed
bombs.
us down.
And then they would make up a reason why. They would say, "Oh, well, they, a couple of them was drug dealers. They went to jail." But like they would make up some shit that'll make America be like, "Oh, they should have bombed them." But anyway, we're getting off
but
Like
topic.
that
Yeah,
even
we-
sounds reasonable.
Niggas will do, bro.
That's crazy.
Bro.
That's crazy.
What they say about George Floyd. Not that we're talking about that, but what they say about George Floyd. Oh
Actually-
yeah, he just robbed the store. Or yeah, he had a fake check or some dumb shit like that. They do that so you can be like,
so they can justify the
yeah, Trayvon Martin. No, Trayvon Martin was trained in martial arts and he was a troubled kid or something like that.
Oh,
They make up
it's,
stuff.
It's called spin tactics.
Yes, Mike Brown.
They spin it, and they to try to justify it.
Yes,
The
they've
man
been doing
came-
it.
The man came in the store with a counterfeit $20 bill. Man, all he had to do was like, look, man, I can't use your money. It wasn't no need to call the cops. And even with the cops come, look, man, you can't use the money. Just
Go ahead about your business.
go about your business.
That's it.
That's it. It
Well,
didn't even have to
they're
go
But
gonna
they will-
they're gonna find.
But they're going to take whatever you did, even if it was me. God forbid, they would say, "Oh well, Andre got in a fight in school back in the day," and
Yeah.
but they're going to find something, and they're going to find the worst picture of you or the worst video of you.
Trying to give you a
So the
negative
public
depiction.
can say, "Oh, he deserved to be shot." I don't feel bad for him. He's not a human
Well,
being.
the same thing about politics. You remember they started that bullshit back then. The war on drugs.
war on drugs.
I remember in second grade when you had first grade '91. Dare and all this drugs.
Yeah,
bad.
I remember DARE.
Yeah.
Because the
What
crack.
did DARE stand for? Seriously,
I don't know. Some
I
shit.
know
Casper,
MAD
pick that
was
shit up.
Mothers Against
Don't
Drunk
attempt.
Driving.
Mother-
Dare
recreational
drugs.
corrections.
I don't know that shit.
Seriously.
It's drug
We have
and
Google.
drug and something education.
Drug and
Yeah, you might be right.
Drug
You might be
and
right.
rape. Hold on, let me see.
Drug and
What the
rape
drug-
education. Oh
what
my gosh,
the-
Dre.
Drug and rape
Dare
education.
stands
I don't
for-
know.
Hey.
Now.
Hey,
Bro, I remember that they made speaking of that, but politicians made up this shit called war on drugs, man. Because in the '90s,
drug
was-
abuse resistance education.
The '90s
Yeah,
was
you're right.
when crack hit.
My
When
man.
and
Lionel.
this little ass town back here we in
Lionel
right
and,
now doing a podcast at this town got
Hey,
hit
bro.
pretty hard for a small ass town, dog. Like I would see everybody back here using drugs and people you never thought would use drugs.
Well,
Go ahead.
like you said about the '90s with that war on drugs. Well, that's when
I just
I
gotta
hate to
treat
say it,
that
our
one
boy
story.
Michael Jordan was investing in those prisons because
We ain't talking about that though.
we know well in the '90s you had investors that were investing a lot of money into building these institutions, these prisons, but they needed bodies. Here's something that y'all probably never knew. There was a secret meeting of hip hop prominent hip hop people in the hip hop industry, going into the late '80s, early '90s. They met in a secluded area somewhere out in California, and they come there. No one knew what this meeting was about. They say these white guys came in and welcomed everybody here, and glad you're here. And they started talking. Well, reason why we brought you here because we have these secret investors who are investing in these prisons. And some people's like, well, what that got to do with us? We make music. We don't, we ain't into no prison stuff. They said, well,
Right.
here's where we need you guys. We need you guys to create this music called hip hop, but make it so violent that it will cause the young people to listen to it, to go out and commit acts of violence so they can be funneled into these prison systems.
One day we're gonna
You-
really talk about that
You can find it online.
because it's a lot of stuff that's designed to put that could be attributed to the 90s.
That is
Was designed to funnel us
Yes.
directly to prison.
So was the war on drugs. Think about
All
it.
of
Now.
it, yeah.
Think about it now. How these heroin addicts and they got free injections. Like
The opioid epidemic.
yeah.
They don't treat the opioid
Right,
epidemic
like the crack epidemic.
epidemic.
Yeah,
They was
people get.
we gotta help these guys.
I see people.
we
I laugh,
gotta help them. They're sick.
I laugh at dope fiend. They like that is so wrong. Why would you laugh at people? I like hold up. Y'all niggas had whole
Oh, no, I
jokes
don't laugh.
about. I laugh because I have family members. I ain't gonna say Nick that was on crack. And it was a sad fucking situation. It wasn't nothing that they wanted to be on.
Of course.
But y'all made fun of them and made certain comedians emulate crackheads and stuff like that to be the butt of a joke and shit. I didn't. It was funny to some people. Some people like, yo, that's
And
my real
that's
fucking
when
life.
the statistics of incarceration of
What-
African Americans went skyrocketing
And that crack epidemic.
on that crack
Yeah.
epidemic. Yeah.
You was found with 1 gram of coke equal to like something you could get caught with like 300 grams of cocaine or something. It was like it 10
Oh
times
yeah, they
thicker,
give
a
you
little-
a triple
Yeah.
sentence towards crack.
Yeah, the
you know
little
what I mean?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh, you mean the
gram-
one that they taught us how to make?
Oh yeah, they taught us how to make
The
it.
one that
Yeah.
they taught us how to make?
I
Oh,
tell
all
you
right.
something.
Because what dude decided to put crack and baking soda in a glass,
Change.
and
Bro,
you know what? Let's just
They literally have shows where they talking about how the white, like I don't know if it was the CIA, they taught them how to make crack.
See,
Yeah.
the war
Go ahead.
the war on drugs was fueled from the Reagan administration
Administration, in the 80s.
to fund the Contras fighting
Right.
over in Colombia.
Absolutely.
So they said, where can we dump all these drugs at to help it? They said we can dump it in these poor communities. The cocaine was already coming flying over. When they
That was
made-
for everybody too.
Yeah, when they made crack, when crack came out, dog, they don't want to admit to it, but that shit was targeted. It targeted
us.
It targeted us.
Yes.
It hit us the
Yeah.
worst. Think about how many businesses went under, how many families was broken up, kids because if your dad out there hustling this rock, he gets caught with this little ass rock or he's down, gone for 25 years. Now you as a young boy don't have a father, and then just your mom, and if she's strung out on drugs, what are you gonna sell?
Well, it was crazy because I was watching this documentary about this shit, and they were talking about how back then, drug dealers used to be on the corner. They used to be selling drugs. The cops would be around. The cops would never do anything about it,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
They
back
wouldn't do-
here.
They
Yeah.
wouldn't. They would never do, and they would just
Yeah.
be there. They would never do nothing about it.
Oh,
And then,
how many cops
and then-
come back here when we selling drugs when it's not back here?
And-
We'd never see a cop back here.
no, they would
And these
be.
corners
They would be
jumping.
on the streets with them, like
Right
they'd be
there.
on the corner, right? Look, they'd be
Because
right there
the
looking at
drug-
them, and they wouldn't do nothing. They was going
Drug
from car to
dealers was
car.
paying the cops more than what the cops was making.
Yeah, well, no. What happened was, whatever was going on, the drug dealers started investing in their communities. They started buying businesses, laundromats, food places, bodegas, shit like that, and started bringing up the communities. And then next thing you know what I'm saying, the drug enforcement came in, and they were just running down motherfuckers left and right. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they seen the money being funneled, instead of it being funneled out. You know what I'm saying? It was being
The
funneled
money,
in.
It was coming in. So
You
they
know what I
wasn't gonna
mean?
have
I
that.
remember my cousin talking about they got robbed for they pack by the cops. They didn't get arrested. The cops just took their pack.
That's normal.
They take their pack.
I mean,
or rob them, take their money. When I was a kid, you couldn't find a cop back here. I mean, this fucking street I live on now was a corner street on Camden Avenue. That motherfucker would have cars riding up and down that street.
Where you live at?
And that, what? I'm not telling you where the rest I live at, motherfucker. That's good enough.
That we're listened to all across the world. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that in New Jersey.
they'll know where you live
But
now.
the thing, you know what was another
I'm
thing?
gonna go to every Camden ass.
Keeping it,
Looking for Kev.
keeping it in the vein of the
Great.
90s, man. The movie Higher Learning, or was it Boys? No, it was Boys in Hood. I'm sorry. There was a part when he said, what's the guy? Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he said, "Look on every corner." He said, "What do you see?" He said, "There's a liquor store on every corner." So basically, it was in the 90s when you really got an education of how fucked up shit was and how they set things up to keep us at war with each other. Because when you and it's still like that today. There's when you go into the hood, you always see a Crown Fried Chicken.
Yep. Poisoning us.
Liquor store. You ain't never seen no fucking Salad Works in the hood.
Or
Nope.
Whole Foods.
Oh no,
Market.
no.
People this, it ain't even a liquor store when you go to the richer neighborhoods. It's wine.
No,
it's wine
it's
and spirits.
wine and
They
spirits.
don't sell
Spirits.
malt liquor.
They don't
It's
sell
wine and
hell no.
spirits.
It's wine and spirits.
It's crazy when you think about it. And to go a little bit further on that with the Boys in the Hood thing, that was my favorite movie back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to literally watch it over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Oh yeah.
right? That speech I didn't get until I was a grown man. I didn't understand it
Oh,
until I
yo.
was a grown man. And I
When
said,
he said that, when Lawrence Fishburne said that, man, that shit resonated with me. I was like, wow, I never thought about it. Then when I went to the hood and I seen it, I'm like, that shit is true.
Yep.
Yeah.
You go up in North Philly, man. There's a liquor store literally.
You
on
can walk. You can walk to
every
everyone.
corner.
Yep.
Yep.
Because if you give them liquor, you give them bad food.
Keep 'em
they keep.
Think about it,
They'll
down
stay right
south.
there and they'll kill each other.
Down
right
south,
there.
you don't even have to have a liquor store. Gas station, grocery store. It don't matter where you go. It's alcohol available. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
living in Florida, it could be 3:00 in the morning and you can get gas. You go inside and get chips. There's beer.
There's beer.
You know what I'm saying? You could drink all night, all day.
But you know what they did? It like that shit was a 360 move with the crack era.
Yeah, it was.
And the poisonous of the liquor stores and all that. How they did these hoods. That's why all these hoods now are torn down and being urbanized. What they did is they let us. My neighborhood I live in now is being what they call gentrified. What they did, they let us beat the damn neighborhood so bad with
They just
drugs and crime.
sprinkle the
It
streets
drove-
with ginger.
It drove the fucking prices so far down on the taxes, the houses, and everything. People would just start buying these things up, just sitting on these properties, slowly moving these people out. And then they bring it all up. Now you can't even live in there. The people that's living there can't even afford to rent in some of these buildings,
Yeah.
or can't afford the taxes. They taxes went up so high, they can't afford it, so they forced to move out.
They're doing that to Philly.
They do it to Philly all the time.
It's
It's
crazy.
parts of Philly that I remember going in as a kid, and the shit looked like the fucking war zone. But now the shit was like, oh shit, they walking down the streets
Well,
with
think
dogs.
about it, Steph. Kev, when we first went to Chicken Bone, I was scared. Your mom told me to take Chicken Bone. I'm like, what the hell is and they're taking us, man? I'm like,
middle of the hood,
Yeah, let them
Hood.
know where that's at.
Atlantic City.
it's Atlantic
It's
City,
a beach in Atlantic City.
New Hampshire Avenue.
Right.
Called
But it's
Chicken-
starting to change now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start to see people walking
Really?
around there that feel safe now going down there.
Yeah.
Wow.
When we
Yeah,
first
man.
started going to Chicken Bone Beach, you had to
Man.
lock your shit
Yeah,
up.
lock your shit up.
Certain
Like,
parts of Atlantic City though, like you know what I'm saying,
but
like
you can see the change.
yeah,
It's changing.
Yeah, 'cause I was
Absolutely.
about to say, back in the day, it's just a casino in the hood. It
Yeah,
really is.
It really
It's
is.
a casino in the hood. There's 2 streets that's lit up all night, and then
You
once
go
you
about
go off
2
them 2
blocks,
streets,
Yeah.
you in
Yeah,
back
it's
Maryland
different.
or
That shit
you in
get dark.
shit different.
Yeah.
That shit get dark.
it get
I ain't
dark,
walking around
and,
out there.
it used to be scary.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
Living
yeah,
out there
back
was
Maryland.
fun.
You know
yeah,
what it is.
living out there,
Maryland, yeah.
living out there was fun. Like if you lived out there, it was
I
fun.
lived out
Yeah,
there.
But if you was random, you just walking
Your
around.
pop lived out there for a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
my pop lived out there in the early 90s. I was a
Yeah,
kid.
man.
He used to give us money, he'd give us change, because our building was attached to a Burger King, and you can go on the boardwalk. Because the building was attached to the boardwalk. So we give us money. We would just run the damn boardwalk as kids, not knowing that there's a lot of shit going on. But as a kid,
whores, all types of
whores,
stuff.
prostitutes, drugs being
Yeah,
sold.
Yep.
Atlantic City was wild, but as a kid, you're not
Yeah,
paying
because
attention.
you
you're
ain't
not
thinking about
catching
that.
I'm just
You're
running
not
to the
catching it.
I'm
You
just
got
running to the
one
arcade.
track mind then.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
running to the arcade with I got a pocket full of quarters. I'm going to the arcade. And it's all these drugs and everything, like the casinos was drug infested. Like that's all they did in there. They got high all day they
was
cocaine
crazy,
in and
man.
out of it.
That was the 90s, man. I don't mean to switch gears, but I'm gonna tell you another milestone in the 90s, man, was the internet.
Oh yes.
American Online.
I had it. I didn't get it to the
I
2000s.
switch
Yeah,
gears.
me neither. I get
I
to
remember
2000.
a girl I knew had the internet. Boy, she had a DVD player and the internet. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I said, "Oh, you
y'all
rich."
remember when y'all first started downloading music off of
Yeah,
Napster?
when I started burning stuff.
That was 2000 for me. Still,
Yeah,
That
that
was-
was still 2000,
that
but
was
still, that
That
was
was
crazy.
I
wasn't
remember
burning
internet
stuff till
90s.
2000.
I used to ride
because your
my
internet
bike
wasn't
to,
fast enough to
I
burn
rode my
shit.
bike to the used to be the library, and we would go on the library's community. That's when chat rooms was like 95.
Oh, damn.
Well, hey, Kev, what was your chat room name? Hot chocolate.
I forgot all kinds of weird ass
Yeah,
names.
it's
Freaky, weird
Yeah.
ass freaky ass names. I would tell girls less cyber. In the 90s, I mean, you have cyber sex. So you
Kev, you still say that shit. You say that
Let's
shit to your
cyber.
girl.
let's
She
cyber.
be in the kitchen cooking. Hey,
Let's
hey, babe, let's cyber.
Yo,
Let's-
I'm gonna go in the bedroom and FaceTime. Yeah.
cyber sex. So you'll be on these chat rooms. Yeah, I am this. You don't know who you talking to on the other end of these computers. This is 90. This is like 95.
It was
So I would have been
75% to 25. It was a man. But go ahead.
70.
crazy.
Probably.
I'm not joking. That wasn't a joke.
It's still because how many
Oh.
little girls got kidnapped? Let's meet up. I want to see what you look
That's
like. 'Cause
crazy.
there was no pictures on there. You would just go in these chat rooms and you would just see these comments just coming at night. And then you would click on one because you thought it was a girl. It had a girl name. You click on the name. Then y'all talking in your own room. Now y'all talking about having sex and what you would do. I'm gonna lick your titties and all this. And
Yep.
that. I'm only dog. I'm like 12 years old, man.
What was your favorite chat room?
Huh?
What was your favorite like site to go to for a chat room?
Dude, I can't remember them damn sites,
Damn.
dog.
Let me ask y'all something. Maybe this might be too low. MySpace wasn't around 90s.
Nah,
that was we was grown.
Nah.
That was grown. Yeah,
When
that
the
came
internet- When the internet started off to go in them chat rooms, it was no pictures.
It was America Online.
It was,
wasn't
America
definitely
Online.
dial-up.
It was
You had to wait
dial-up.
for that shit.
Yeah,
You had to
dial-up.
unplug the phone, right?
No, my
We got
dad
the
had
shit.
2
We got the
lines.
picture on that.
Bro,
That's crazy.
We got the picture of
Had
America
to have
Online.
another line. Yeah, because he bought the computer to use the internet for whatever. And
Porn.
we had a fax machine too at the time.
Yo,
I
yeah,
think.
now you really
I used to
going
look at
back.
porn
Fax machine.
pictures.
We had a fax machine, and he didn't. You
Oh, it
know,
was
want
on
to,
there. It is
interview.
on
Yeah,
there.
the fax machines, man.
Yeah, we definitely had 2 lines.
Maybe it's
Matter of
gone.
fact, if
Don't
you
worry
was
about it.
able to click over back then when you
Oh,
had
that's
a
right
phone
there. Never
plan
mind that.
with your
I see.
phone provider, if you had
Don't worry
call
about it. Don't worry
waiting,
about it. Don't
it
worry about
actually lets you use the internet and have the phone at the same time.
And that was another thing. They
Call
was even
waiting.
now during the internet, they was competing too because you had what was the main? What you have?
Yeah,
Verizon.
you have America.
Verizon was the main. I don't know anybody
You had
else.
America Online. It was some.
No, Verizon had DSL a
Who
little
had
bit
Napster?
later.
Who had Napster?
No, that was for
That was
music.
just a site.
That was just a site.
There was something else that. No, it was just only America Online.
It was
America Online
Online.
gave you the free minutes.
You got mail.
Yeah,
That was the only one I remember back then. That was the only server.
Yeah, that's
That
the only
was-
server I remember.
Yeah.
Was America Online, and that shit went out.
Yeah, because they used to give out free. They used to mail you free minutes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
shit.
could type your joint like as long as you was plugged in and you had like you didn't need a modem, you just needed to plug your joint up to your tower, and as long as you had that phone line, you was able to get online, but it was slow as hell.
You know, another thing was still going on in the 90s. Y'all had CDs, but Jokers was doing mixtapes too back in the 90s.
Like actual tapes,
Yeah, cassettes.
yeah, putting the tissue in the top and then just
Yeah.
recording. Yeah, that's what I
I
was
used
doing.
to make what they call. I used to make mixtapes. I used to with Power 99 back then in
Yep.
Philly. You would put your tape in there, and you would hit the record button on the tape, and you would record the new music coming on, so you can have a tape. And as soon as they start talking, boom, you hit the pause real quick so you would get the voices.
Nah, I like the talking.
Nah, I cut that shit out.
No, I got whole radio shows
You got
memorized
whole
right
radio
now.
shows in your phone?
Memorized right now.
Yeah, I used to make
Really?
the
Can
tapes.
rattle them off.
Because back then,
I'm not joking.
Because remember that back then, you used to be able, in the 90s, you used to be able to dub, like somebody would buy a tape, and you had
Oh,
the
you would
second one,
dub it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dub
you
they
would dub
tape,
their
Yep.
tape.
or you dub a movie.
I had the
the
two.
bootleg
oh.
movies.
Oh, that I
man,
didn't.
yeah.
That I didn't have.
Man.
I did have the double deck boom box that I could record off the other tape or record the radio or
Yeah,
record
But
through
I'll
the
be
mic.
honest with you. You said something, man. Them bootleg movies, man. I got burned on it so many times, man. I got beat, man.
You didn't like people walking when you were trying to watch the movie?
Man, you watching the movie start out English, then it go to German, then it go to French. You be like, man, what the hell am I watching? People getting up, walking in the street. Oh, that shit was bad, dude.
Listen.
I would just give the movie back, like, man, keep the $5. I don't know.
The $5.
$5 funky flicks.
Used to go to the flea market. They have all the
Oh, we had
bootleg-
stands.
the stands.
We had
Yeah,
stands, yeah.
bootleg tapes all over and shit. You like, yo, oh shit, Friday just came out of the movie theater. Let's get
And
So-
the thing was, yo, it's clear. Is it clear? Yeah,
Bullshit.
it's clear. It's HD. Yeah, all right.
Yo,
HD in the
back then
90s.
HD was like 380K. But I used to all of the favorite movies I'm talking about, like Set It Off, Friday, Boys in the Hood, all the movies I used to watch over and over again, all of them were bootlegs.
Was your
All of
cameraman? You ever have the one where your cameraman
our
be watching?
our cameraman
you
was
hear,
dope.
You hear the camera moving.
Our cameramen were dope
Yeah.
as fuck. But
You
it would be so dark, like you couldn't see certain shit. So certain shit I didn't know was happening
Yeah, if it got
until
dark
I
in
got the
movie.
real movie.
Yeah, if it got dark in the movie.
Yeah, I was just like,
especially
word.
fight scenes.
Word.
Like if you got a fight scene, it's dark and they fighting in the dark or it's nighttime or something. You just hear it. Doosh, doosh, doosh. You're like, shots, pop out,
Yep,
punch,
don't know what the
ta-da.
fuck.
You're like, oh shit, it's going down.
Yeah.
Who getting fucked up?
And God forbid you got a funny ass comedy and that theater's packed when them niggas say it.
Oh
And they
my
laughing they
gosh.
ass off.
They
The
would
first
laugh, you
Kid and
like,
Play movie,
Yeah, man.
My House Party 2, that's what it was.
all laugh.
My House Party 2 that I would watch over and over again. Like when funny stuff happened, when they was fighting, when they was chasing the dude at the like towards the end, chasing the dude that stole all their money. I never knew what the hell happened. Till this day, I don't know what happened. I just knew he ended up falling into a cake or some dumb shit like that.
Oh, my
That's
God.
all I know.
Niggas stand up.
Ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Niggas throw their fist up. Ooh, that's what Arsenal was like dope back
Yeah.
then. Niggas, oh yeah, dog. I don't know what that was.
That's when
back
niggas was
then.
That
doing.
was
That's Uncle Mike. He was there.
That was Arsenio Hall.
I remember Arsenal.
Yeah, but why was they whooping?
I don't know.
That was his
What
thing.
was
That
this?
was like his
Nah, that
motherfucking.
nigga,
He used to come in. Remember, they used to be loud. And it was like that was like his pump it up type. Yeah.
But I see niggas do that in bootlegs on the movie. They're, oh shit, it got him, dog. Yeah. I'm like,
It was
yo,
popping back then though.
Yeah,
Arsenio was a
nah,
big thing.
Kev was in
Yeah.
there like this.
Arsenio was a big thing. Oh yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
They used to bootleg movies was the fucking.
Damn.
I hate
It was a
man.
gift and a curse.
Nah.
Yeah, it was a gift and a
It
curse.
was
man.
a gift and a curse, but I'm telling you, bro, my dad used to have crates. He used to have crates, and all of them, I don't know if y'all remember. So the real movies would come in a little sleeve that you would slide in, right?
Yeah.
The bootleg movies
Little
would have
thin
this
case.
hard ass case
Plastic
that you had to like pry, or it was like Sega games.
Oh, the jewel
The
case.
big John, the big one.
Oh,
You know how you remember?
like
Remember
the-
when Sega games used to come in?
Yeah.
Blockbuster joint.
Yeah, you had to
Yeah, so
fucking
you could
pry
fit a
them
video
shits
cassette in that
open,
bitch.
bro. You know how real it is. I can still
Oh
feel it in my
God,
fingertips
dude, I know.
as
Yeah.
I'm imagining it.
that big fucking jewel case.
Big as hell,
man.
and it
I
was
know-
like
yeah, that
weird
shit was
colors,
terrible. Yeah.
red,
Red, blue.
Yeah.
white, blue.
You couldn't get
Like
that
what?
motherfucker. You had to damn near break it to get into it.
Yeah,
It was hard
with
as
the
hell.
with the cheap ass blackened ass sleeve
They got a little
cover
plastic on the
joint.
top, and they
The
just,
picture of the
they
movie.
just put it in a sleeve. It looked like a little picture.
Yeah.
I mean, they put a little folded piece of paper
Yeah,
with the
I
movie.
want to go back,
Half the movie title is off of
bro.
it. You know?
Yeah, bro. I want to go
man.
back.
Bro,
Am I
you
wrong? I want to go back.
You do, but you had your good boot. You had bad bootlegs, but if you found a good bootleg man, you always
Yep, you always
hit
went to
that
it.
Yeah, you went
bootleg
to it,
man
yeah.
up like, yo, I know you got the best ones. What you got? All right, listen. There's a couple people standing up in here, dog. After the first 2
He knows,
minutes,
right? He knows.
after
Yeah.
the first 2 minutes, they sit down.
I tell you what, in the barbershops, they used to always come. Oh, you be in the chair. Somebody always came in. Yo, got some movies, man. Anybody looking for some movies?
Tape a bag
Get
full
your-
of
And get your hookup.
Yep, come on. Yeah, man. I just
Got
got
a fresh haircut. You got your new movie.
Got your movie.
You
You
getting
good.
you a shorty tonight. You know that. And once you hit her with the,
I never had
I
the
got
shorty
new
for the
such and
bootleg.
I got that new joint. Got that
Mhm.
set it off. I got that, whatever,
Definitely.
whatever.
I
Yeah,
definitely
man.
had that on bootleg. Like literally all the movies that we talked about, I had. That's what I had them on. I didn't have them on real movie
Man,
until
it
I
was-
got older.
My
It was
uncle,
big.
Uncle Poppy stayed with the bootleg.
Oh, Uncle Ingo, Uncle Poppy, man, they would just sit like VCRs up and CD recorders, and they would record movies all day long. all
We
day.
used
That's a
to rent
hustle.
movies and then record them with two
Do you
video.
remember
yeah,
that?
Two VCRs. We have a
My
VCR plug to a
Blockbuster card
VCR,
was.
and we record.
They
We
don't-
record it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
they
then have the warning up there.
Yeah, warning.
Yeah,
we
get fun.
Fuck
We
y'all
ain't selling
warning.
it. We keeping it. You know
Fuck
what I'm
y'all
saying?
warning.
Yo,
NBA games can't
yo,
be
How many
rebroadcasted.
people still?
Psych.
How many people still owe Blockbuster money?
I'm gonna tell you who I owe. I owe West Coast Video.
West Coast Video.
I owe West Coast Video, but nigga, you
Yo.
don't know nothing about it.
My mom had rented us as kids. She rented us the Jungle Book when it came out
Right.
in the 90s. Forgot to take that tape back. She went back there like 4 or 5 years later to go rent a Blockbuster movie. Damn, your bill is $1,200.
I won't be coming here ever the fuck again.
$1,200.
We lost our Blockbuster. You remember, you lose your Blockbuster card back in the day, your shit get canceled. You can't do
You
shit.
can't do shit.
Can't rent no games.
Nah.
So how much library book fees do you owe since we're talking about the 90s?
Shit, I owe a lot of library. I still got a $190 library fee when I was going to the
Nigga
library.
never read a book.
Library used to have movies in there.
Oh, I was talking about me. I never read a book, but I owe Rob at the time I never read a book, but I owe library fees. Never read a book.
You never read a book.
Never read at the time.
Because you had to get
Now
it
I'm an
from-
avid
you
reader.
had to get this. You had to get it from school.
From
Because
school. Yep.
This shit was they would put the stamp in the
Yep.
side of the book and they
Yep.
put the stamp on your car.
Yep.
The stamp matched on when they had to come back. I was back.
Yep. Never brought them back. Never brought them
Had
back
a date on
because I
that bitch.
didn't read them, so I
No,
wasn't even
man.
thinking about them.
You find that shit a couple summers later. You still got this book.
I know why the
Now you
cage
owe a
bird
college,
sings.
yeah, right? Now you owe a college tuition.
I don't know anything about why the cage bird sings.
I wonder why when Blockbuster and all them they went out.
They folded, man.
They had no
folded.
choice
Because they didn't adjust.
Yeah, they
That's
folded.
why.
Because you remember, you would get you would go there, Remember, because they only have a set full of movies. When the new movie came out at
Oh, that bitch was
Blockbuster,
gone.
it was empty.
Gone.
Mad as hell. Then you
shit.
had to get on
Gone.
the waiting list. So, okay, we'll call you when it comes for somebody to turn it back in.
Listen,
I hated that.
I hate
I
that
didn't
shit.
stop renting movies until 2005 or 6. What was that joint that y'all had in Sicklerville, wherever the it's a Jamaican restaurant up there now?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name.
It
I
was
think-
something
I think
like
that was West Coast. Video.
nah, it wasn't. It was like something different.
Well, Hollywood. I remember
Hollywood.
Was it Hollywood Video?
Hollywood
It was
Video.
something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't stop renting shit until then, and I rented porn from there.
Yeah.
Porn.
In a little secret curtained area.
Yeah.
That little curtain there,
Yeah.
and you walk back there, hope ain't nobody
Like
back
that.
Uh-huh.
there.
See,
Know me.
At the time, I was actually with Erica though, so literally I would be like, "All right, we're gonna rent one of them type of movies." You know what I mean?
man.
I didn't never go by myself
Well,
to
when
rent porn.
I was a kid. They had that little curtain area. My
You
mom would go
peeking.
looking for the
You
food.
peek-
She
you
got
peek up
there.
in there.
Like, I run in that room real quick, look around.
Look,
She can't find me. I hear
Take
her
mental
talking.
pictures.
It was running out.
Man,
Stupid.
that's
You
funny,
can't have them
man.
kids. Man, you gotta keep an eye on your kids.
It was naked people kissing in there. I didn't know what was happening.
That's crazy.
I would love going to the. I was like, yeah.
That's a freak.
Little freak bowl.
When did the video stores fall? When did they just?
They fell
Like,
because of
2000 was
2000.
like when Netflix came. The
No.
first Redbox. Redbox came, killed them,
Killed them.
and then Netflix came and killed Redbox.
Killed
Redbox.
Yeah, they did kill Red.
Remember,
Yeah.
ShopRite had a movie rental, video
Yeah.
game rental.
Yeah, I forgot. It was.
Yeah, it was-
like a little fucking.
It was like a caged room, yo.
Yeah.
It was
Little
like a
kid, you used to
caged
smell
room.
that hot butter pop.
Yeah.
When you walk in there.
You walk in there, it was
You-
probably.
you-
Because that takes me,
Yo, you
I
smell
wanna
that
go
hot
back.
butter popcorn,
Yeah.
bro. That
ShopRite
was
used to have shit. We used to go in there renting games every other day.
That was the weekend.
Kev was
Every
rich.
other day.
That was Saturday.
It was
Sat-
$2.
Kev was rich.
It was only like
$2.
$2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you was rich.
$2-3.
Bro, when I would get $5, I would save up money, do chores. Friday night came, my mom said, "What y'all want to do? I want to go rent a game with my I want to rent a game for Sega." She take us to the joint, put the card in, get a man up $5, take the game. You got the game for a week. You play that motherfucker nonstop.
Yeah,
till
nah,
get
You
that
beat that game. You beat that game till you tired of
Oh,
it.
man, that
It was mine for a
crazy.
week and I dusted it.
Crazy. Yeah, that was the 90s, man.
Speaking of which, I just got something dumb I want to add because I thought that Redbox was like the first one. My mom actually used to, at her job, she used to have a video machine, like a vending machine that she can pick video cassette tapes from, VHS tapes from.
Really?
Yeah. So like I thought Redbox was the first that used to do. Nah, my mom used to actually do that because I remember she used to rent Mrs. Doubtfire like every month. She would rent that, and I just thought about that. Somebody was doing that back in the day with VHS tapes.
The nigga who owned Redbox.
The nigga who owned Redbox. The nigga who owned Redbox. It was Blue Box back then.
It was brilliant because he got his money, but like that's the crazy thing. Man. There's always competition. Somebody always gonna come up with something better.
Yeah,
Spirit of business.
You ever remember missing that midnight deadline that you had to put that damn tape in or you get charged the
never.
extra fee?
Yes, if you didn't return that shit by 10 o'clock or some shit like that,
That box be locked like motherfucker.
They would lock the box.
Better go home
Yeah, they
and watch
would lock
that shit
the
one
shit.
more time.
I'm gonna watch it again.
Damn.
Damn.
They would lock it up on purpose at a certain time.
Yeah, because
so
they
you
want to
get-
make sure that
Yeah.
you got to pay that fee.
Yeah, you gotta pay that
But
late
make
fee,
sure.
man.
you be running to that motherfucker. Go grab that damn.
See, if I worked there, I would literally be watching you as I'm locking it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
crazy.
I don't know how many times I came back.
Gotcha,
to the car,
buddy.
Came back to the car. My mom like this was taking it.
Ooh, get your ass whipped. Oh my God, she was mad as shit too.
She missed it. It wasn't my fault. I
Oh.
didn't miss the shit. She did. I had no car as a kid.
So we got kind of one more. Well, not really one more, but one more that I think is pretty interesting.
What's up?
The boy band explosion. The
It
boy
was
band
bad,
explosion.
bro.
That was the worst.
But you could start from the gate with like "Color Me Bad." No, that wasn't bad. "Color Me Bad." What was another white band?
Well, boy bands was black too, dog.
Can't say
it
New
wasn't
Edition. Can't say New
B-
Edition.
B2K?
Boys to Men. That was 2000.
That was-
That was 2000.
Okay.
What's them little ass kids that came out?
Another bad creation.
Another bad creation.
Shit, we forgot to talk about Crisscross. Are you
But-
kidding me?
but-
Another bad creation.
It was
Um,
they were
yeah,
mixed
they were.
though.
What?
Crisscross, one was black and one was half black, half white, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But they
Yeah,
They're
one of
both.
the Chris's
First of all,
was black.
they both name was Chris.
Yeah, one
Doesn't
of the
matter.
Chris's
you
was
consider
black.
that boy band?
Nah,
and shit?
boy
Nah.
band. Boy
I'm
They
band.
all-
were rappers.
for
Boy
this
band was
segment-
that streaky.
For this segment,
They was blonde, streaky hair. With
that's
the
like
big
98,
ass-
98 degrees, like Uncle Mike was saying.
In
like,
Sync, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Old Town.
Oh,
Those
God.
were your boy
Old
bands.
Town. Old Town.
Those were boy bands.
Those was the fucking.
Old Town.
That was
And
the
then
worst.
you had the girls. You had the Spice Girls.
Spice Girls was 90s.
Yeah.
Spice Girls was 90s. Yeah.
What about Ace of Base?
Ace of Base.
Ace of Base.
Were they like a,
I saw
It was like two of them, right?
It was a girl and like three other people.
Oh, I don't know. That was just a
No,
band.
All for One.
Ace of Base was a band. Period.
All for One. I
They were
swear.
mixed up too. Yeah.
Oh, that was. Oh my god, I hate that motherfucking song.
What song?
I swear.
By the moon and the stars.
You don't
First,
remember
that's your
that?
favorite song,
You
bro.
gonna sing that on your wedding?
Oh, watch this. Watch this. You ever remember when TV come away tonight? Hey, get a greatest collection of all the greatest hits. And that song was
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can recite those commercials. If I start one commercial, you remember the gospel one too.
They did
You
all
can
that.
recite them all.
But they
I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain.
Jesus is the light
Oh,
of
my
the
God.
world. I
I
know that everything is. Yo, I can recite the whole shit.
Who the hell left the damn gate open?
stayed open too fucking late. That shit came on because that was the
And they
emergence
keep
of
playing.
what was
Yeah.
that shit?
Now, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Y'all had in the '90s, man. Those 976 call something.
Don't call me.
Wait.
Call
Hey,
it.
Calling me
Hey,
now.
bro, can I give y'all a story? It's not a story, but
Go ahead.
like what happened? So my nieces is in the car, right? They said they was talking about something. I was like, yo, I could call Spider-Man right now. I said some dumb shit like that. They was like, no, you can't call Spider-Man, Uncle Dre. I said, watch. So I called like 1-800 Spider-Man or some shit. And don't you know that shit was like, I don't know what it stood for, but like one of them 976 numbers started
Yeah.
talking. I had it on speakerphone and said, hey there, guy, or some shit like that. I had to hang up real quick because they was watching me. Like I was joking with them and shit.
That's crazy,
bro.
So I had to hang up real
Bro,
quick.
that's crazy. We got Aunt Sherry phone call. Me, Raheem, and Calvin because we was calling on them sex.
Yo.
Sex hotlines as kids.
Yo, it was
I did too.
In the 90s.
I did too.
But you think about it, when you up at as a kid or late night, the commercials come on all the time. You want to talk to me, guys?
Hey,
Well-
are you? They be like this. Hey, are you lonely tonight?
You know, the answer was yes.
I can be your company.
At 12. Yes, I'm lonely. What do you want to do?
Call now. $25.99 for the
You
first
and Miss
minute.
Cleo. I'm calling both
$35
of
each
y'all.
additional minute.
I'm calling both of y'all.
$10, 10-minute minimum.
Yo, man,
Crazy.
What
was your favorite one?
Me and Ryan, we used to call 1-800-FAT girl.
1-800-FAT girl.
That was
1-800-FAT girl.
that
We didn't
was
even know where it
crazy.
came.
1-800-FAT. It'd be 1-800-FAT girl. There's some fat girl. Come on, breathe it on her.
You know, I can literally tell you.
What they say? I always did that.
Welcome to 1-800-FAT girl. When it's so easy to stick it in
Yeah.
your credit card, that is. Because whenever we hit a payphone, we would just call this shit. Whenever we see a payphone, we would call it.
Me and Raheem Calvin, we
What?
called that number one night, and one of them sex line numbers came on TV. We was on that motherfucker for 2 hours between the three. Between the three of us. My aunt got that phone bill.
Yo.
The next day, they cut her shit off immediately, dog.
2 hours on a house phone?
Three of us, because all three of us talking to this lady.
Bro.
She knew it was kids, but she never hung the fucking phone.
Bro.
I was making commission.
Bro.
976 numbers was bad, dude.
I
Bad.
would have wore y'all asses the fuck out.
And we some badass kids.
Wow.
Dog, man. That was like them commercials.
Holy
would come
shit.
On, them commercials would come on every night, and my aunt like, I swear to God, y'all call them numbers.
I swear to God.
She would take the phone. She would take the phone, wrap it up upstairs. We would just dial the numbers all night because
Wow.
there's nothing happened. Because you remember at a certain time in the '90s, you would watch TV and that horrible ass $1 million movie would come on.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
them
know.
late night movies, yeah,
Yes.
it's terrible.
Terrible. Them movies did not cost $1 million, no.
Hell no, they ain't make $1 million neither.
Wow.
Because you would see it drop down that big ass block, the $1 million block, like $1 million movie.
Yeah,
Well,
you
you-
like, man, it's garbage.
You also don't remember that at a certain time they used to cut,
Cut
like
the
TV
TV
used to
off.
cut off.
Now, that's back.
You
in my
couldn't
day.
watch nothing.
TV would go off
Or-
like about 1, 2 in the morning. That shit, they sing "God Bless America." Next
I'm
thing
about
you
to
know,
say, yeah.
that shit go. Boo.
Yeah.
Everybody
It'd
went
be
to
like
bed.
that to like 6
Yeah,
in the morning.
because cable at a certain point, cable would cut off. Cable TV would
Yeah,
go off.
you see them color lines.
The color lines are like, what the fuck is this? I'm just
Done.
Niggas went home.
only thing that was going on with Channel 6 with the $1 million movie, everything else was an infomercial that ran
All night, yeah, them infomercials. Damn, yeah, they used to run them shits all night.
I kind of
Like
wish.
6 in the morning.
Yeah, I kind of wish it would go back to that because it'd give people kind of less. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of less to drown out
Netflix,
real
so
life.
They'll just turn Netflix
No,
on.
Yeah, it's
Hulu,
Yeah.
Sling TV. It's
It's
so
shit
many different
man.
apps.
It's different.
back in the 90s,
Shutter.
you would just get into some shit if you was up that late as a kid. You was into
Yeah.
some bad. You was
Yeah,
into
you calling motherfucking 976 numbers.
Yeah, that shit's
If you had
crazy.
HBO, they had HBO After Dark.
Oh, I got
Ooh.
Okay, look
I
Skinner
know
Max.
your ass got
Okay.
no HBO After Dark. My grandmother had that,
Skinner
and we
Max.
would turn. Cause that's what you would say here. Me and Raheem would be in the living room, turn the volume all the way down.
You always had to turn it down.
But Uncle Mike was still he was like in his 20s.
Yeah,
He
I
was,
was in my 20s,
he was
yeah.
still here. He'd come, what y'all in here watching? Oh shit. Turn that shit off. Mom, Daddy out here watching this
Bro.
damn.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, HBO After Dark.
Oh,
that was the 90s.
Skinner Max.
My grandpa had, so I remember cable back in the day. My grandpa was the only one that had cable. And you remember that you would go to certain channels and they would give you an option to order the movie. And it was like some weird option. You had to hit select this and that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I tried that shit and I spent at least 4 hours trying to figure out how to reverse and take it off. And the porn was just on. It was just on. And I'm like, it's on. The shit is on mute. I'm sitting there trying to like figure out how to go back, change it back. My cousin Logi was here at the party yesterday. He came in. I was like, yo, I ordered the fucking porn on the accident. He was trying to figure out how to turn it off. But yeah, apparently you can hit like select or something else and it'll actually order the porn for you.
Bro.
I couldn't figure it out. Y'all watch the rest of it. Like, fuck it.
I definitely went back and forth on it, though.
I would hear him creep or hear my grandma and them creep after a while. Turn that damn TV off, lay low in the dining room. I mean, then lay low
In the dark.
In the dark, like motherfucker, looking at the door. Like,
It was softcore porn. It was softcore.
Nigga, at 12, 9 years old.
Oh, no, it was everything. It was everything. It was still everything,
It
though.
was soft porn. They just wouldn't show no entry. They'll show titties. They'll show the motion, but they won't show no entry.
Good. That was my speed.
That's where you had to use your imagination.
Well, you
When the
knew
nigga was hitting her like this, he was like,
yeah, you knew what he was doing.
he was stroking her all.
You know what he was doing.
It knew
Yo,
what he was doing.
The dude be stroking all emphatically. It's like, wait a minute. As you get older, you're like, nah, that don't happen like that.
But I would do that. I would sit up. I would wait till they go to sleep. My grandparents go to sleep. They the only ones that had cable. Me and Ryan be in the basement playing like, I don't hear it moving no more.
Go up there.
And then after that, you would call a 976 number.
Nah, I never called it on their house. I did it at my aunt Sherry's house. My grandpa ain't played with that phone. You touch that.
Scramble channels.
Scramble channels. Oh, everybody.
Scramble channels.
You think they ever try to unscramble the porn when you
be wiggling.
If you squint, you can see it.
They be squiggling, you be wiggling, you be trying like.
You can see it.
I see a nipple.
I can see a nipple. You can hear it.
Yo,
That was crazy.
but my grandpa ain't played with that phone. You pick that phone up. That's when they can listen to your conversation. You pick the phone up, calling your girlfriend, thinking you cool. In the 90s, my grandpa picked that phone. Get your ass on my goddamn phone.
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
And
shit.
As you should.
They didn't have no call waiting, did they?
Nah.
No call waiting.
Late 90s. But
Late
early,
90s?
No.
Call waiting.
or it's for them to add it. We wasn't adding it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I
We had
mean?
call waiting in the 90s.
You was rich.
Yeah, because we had the internet. It was rich. So you had to swap over.
Man, we ain't had that.
Yeah, my dad had two.
My mom
never
Remember
got
we had
the
two.
internet.
Pop and grandma.
Get that
They ain't play that. Don't be on my phone. I got business calling me.
Either way.
Who's business?
Ain't nobody calling.
Either way, it's his phone. That's what it is.
Ain't want nobody-
Yo, imagine right now. So you got kids. Like I got young kids. But imagine if you had a landline right now, and the prices was like it was back then, and they tried to get on the phone and stay on it. Wouldn't that piss you off?
Yeah, it pissed me off. My grandfather.
Yeah.
Two things you couldn't touch out: that goddamn phone and that thermostat.
Oh, you bet.
You better not touch that
In the
thermostat.
90s, as a kid in the 90s, don't touch the thermostat.
Yo, I dare a kid to touch a thermostat in my house right now. I dare a grown person to touch my thermostat right now, other than my wife.
Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all remember? I don't know if this was 90s. Maybe this was like early 2000s. I don't mean to get off 90s, but do y'all remember when minutes were free after 9?
And then they
Yes.
graduated to after 7.
After 7,
Then
yeah.
they graduated.
That was
to if they called you, it
early
was free.
2000s, but it
Yeah,
might.
yeah.
That was early
Sprint.
2000s.
Sprint was trying to come
that
back
shit
from
was
raping niggas,
crazy,
but-
man.
No, hold up.
Not physically.
No, I was in the 9th grade. That was 99. Well, that's when I had the big ass track phone. No texting. In 99, my first cell phone, you couldn't text. It just had a little bar about this big that the number came across. That's the only thing you can dial. I was working at KFC. I was in 9th grade.
I got something that was big in the 90s. Freaking beepers.
Beepers.
Man.
Oh
Beepers.
yeah, pages.
I had a beeper.
You had a
Yeah,
beeper?
I had one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were huge.
Niggas running to a.
All it
99.
all it was a mobile caller ID.
That's all
You
it
couldn't
was.
do shit. Oh shit! I phone call.
I gotta call them back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because they ain't have mobile phones then.
Yeah.
You had to go to the
6969, bro.
They had beeper stores.
Yeah, they had.
The shit would light up.
Yeah, they had mad different
The see-through joint.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they started putting little ringtones on there.
Yeah, the shit was flying.
man.
Oh man, that was crazy.
Niggas was happy to have a beeper. They beeper wasn't on display. Like
Yo,
that
yeah.
wasn't part of they attire. That beeper be on their
Sometimes
head.
they had a few beepers.
Like 2 or 3 beepers. Like, yo,
Hell
so
yeah.
why you got all the beepers?
When
That's
did the
That was my
trip
uncle's.
come out?
That was 2000.
Yeah,
That was
Alright, we gotta say
2000.
that
The
for
next
2000.
sales. The next
dog,
sales.
but you remember in the 90s there was a
I had
damn
one.
payphone on every other corner, every corner store,
Yeah.
at every supermarket.
Yup.
It was a payphone. You go stick your
Yeah,
finger
That's-
there.
man. But
That's
you
where
pay-
I dialed
you pay
1-800 Fat Girl.
$1.35 nigga phone call. That shit only lasts like 2 minutes. You got
Mhm.
to add a quarter. Your call be interrupted like that.
Or you get that phone call from somebody. You have a collect call from Papa. I accept the collect call. Slip no goddamn collect call.
Yeah,
So
man.
he said no dog there,
I
so-
didn't have to call him on collect on the payphone. Papa, come pick me up from work. Let's take
Yeah,
that.
man.
Had a
They
baby,
didn't
it's a
even
boy.
know. Had a baby, it's a boy.
And the big eats the boy.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
those were the times, man.
Those were the times, bro. 90s was awesome. Man.
Those were the times.
If I could go back, I probably would.
All right, man.
VCRs, all that shit.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up, man. As we've been here for 2 hours talking about the '90s, one of the dopest eras ever, Dre. So
Sure.
I agree.
you know how to bring us out, as always.
All right, guys. I want to thank you for joining us, and we are your host
I'm Cool Kev.
Dash,
and our guest,
Mr. Mike in the
Oh.
building.
and we want to thank you for joining the Opinionated Podcast, your favorite sex, love, relationship, and decade podcast, apparently. So,
Ooh. Yeah.
boom.
And also, happy belated birthday to Dre. His birthday was yesterday.
Happy
He was
birthday,
turned.
Big Dre.
He was turned up.
Thank you very
He
much.
turned,
Hey,
he
you know
turned
what I mean?
39.
Young man.
Oh, you're an asshole. And we forgot about one of the best shows of the '90s, but I guess nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah, man. I think we covered it all.
That was your fault.
It was.
All right, we out.
Catch y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Peace.